virtual teams is definitely the way forward at the moment for a lot of people. So that's what I do. Win of the week has, I have to be honest with this, but it's actually taken on somebody that does recruitment. A guy called David is absolutely incredible. So he does recruitment and training and is doing like 15 interviews a day at the moment, and has just given me so much time back. He's actually given three of us time back because we were spreading the interviewing and everything between us all, for all the VAs that we're needing to bring on. So it's been an absolute eye-opener. I don't know why we didn't do it before. We were thinking we needed all these other people. We did, but the recruiter that can concentrate on that completely, because it's a bit of a process. We do it like a 15-minute interview followed by a 20-minute if they're there, and then I do a sort of meet and greet as well. So that has alleviated a lot of time. And of course, going through all of the applications, if we put a post out into Facebook groups in the Philippines and things like that, we can get up like 250 applications come back in 24 hours. So it's that's been my win, and has released a huge amount of pressure. So again, outsourcing or having somebody else to do things that you could be better doing at other times. Sorry, you could do things better for you that would create the sort of money making stuff has definitely proven to be the case this week. So that's my massive win of the week. Thanks very much, guys, and you were definitely entertaining this morning. Superb, love being here with you.
Thank you, Elliot. Very much appreciated. Has anyone in the audience used the Kickstarter campaign yet? Let's keep it sort of a little bit useful and focused. Alison, you've been having some success with the Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore it. So I've got 2 Kickstarts, and I work with young people anyway. So I usually take on apprentices and graduates from the Santander scheme. For anybody that doesn't know what the Santander scheme is, you can actually get part funding towards a salary of a graduate, but obviously Kickstarter is now in play as well. So I work really well with young people because they inspire me. And they're fast. Again, I'm 53. They can do things in 10 minutes. It takes me 10 hours to do. So I've got Rebecca, who runs ops and marketing. She's not Kickstarter, so she's full-time employed, but we've got 2 Kickstarters. So like the TikTok and all that kind of stuff is being running by them. We've given them the projects. And then the other one, and it's really interesting, I've got one of them who is a graduate. So he's got a degree in marketing. He's, 22. And then I do a lot of voluntary work with schools. I go in and I work with the Troubled Teen. So that's one of my give backs that, I don't really put that on my social media. It's just something I do regularly because having been in that situation myself, I really enjoy it and I know it can make a difference. So there was a young girl who was 15. She'd already been expelled from a couple of schools. And when she was in difficulty, she would come to us, like directly to that, come to the office. We would sit, have a cup of coffee with her, try and settle her in. And we said, as soon as we can get you a job here, we're earmarking a job for you. You come and work for us. And she had been really struggling to get anything. And bless her, we got her on Kickstart and she is amazing. So I'll be keeping her on, putting her through apprenticeship and, she'll come full time with us. But it's a brilliant scheme. Literally, I think you have to, and it's interesting because the boy with the degree, like he's not as agile as the girl with no qualifications. So I think, don't, as an employer, don't just look at the fact that you're getting somebody who's gone through uni. Look at the ones with the life skills because, they are really agile. They bring a lot to the party. And especially if you're looking to extend your social media reach, that is just a brilliant way to do it. So the way that it works, you can either go directly. It used to be that you had to take on 30. You don't now. I got 2 directly, or you can go through a gateway, which is through your gate. Usually it's your Chamber of Commerce or your Growth Hub. So there's 38 of those in the country, and they can sort of broker for you. You get £1,500 per capita. So everyone you take on, you get a down payment. What we did with that was we invested it into their training and laptops. So we got them a Mac so that they've got equipment to use. And then the government, you just put them through payroll as normal. You pay the NI. And then literally just after you've paid them, the DWP put the money back into your bank account. So you get them for 6 months. You get the £1,500 and their salaries paid. You got the choice as well. Like we up their hours and we up the rate so that they're not on the minimum wage, that they're on a higher rate. But honestly, if you're looking to scale your business, grow your business, I cannot recommend Kickstart highly enough. It's just amazing. And it's a great life skills for young people as well to work in organisations.
Alison, what's the first thing you teach them when you come in? Do you teach them about your big balls?
Yes, I empty inbox and big balls, and again, and we like what I talk about in here, like because a lot of them are working from home, they're struggling with mental health. Like there's these young people have been their life's been stolen from them. I know that everybody's had, but for them it's like really difficult. So when we start every morning, even if we're remotely, we do the scaling system. We go, right, okay, come on, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 means you feel like doggy poo, 5 means you're rocking it today. And they're really honest, and they're like, oh, actually I'm a 3 because one of the girls had to get a dog put down, taught in the conversation of dogs. And I'm like, right, okay, well, what can we do then to bring you to a 5? And how about we do this today, you finish early, and then we'll pick it all back up tomorrow. So again, I think it's really, really important that I come from the land of YTS, for those of you who aren't old enough to remember, youth training schemes. And I used to get paid 40 quid a week. And a lot of people with a fixed mindset thought it was actually slave labour. And I know there'll be a lot of negativity around Kickstarter. But if you've got a growth mindset like my team have, like me as an employer has, this is an amazing opportunity. So yes, they all know about the big balls. And watch my TikTok for the ball of overwhelm. That TikTok is coming soon.
Brilliant. Ash, you could build an army with Kickstarter, couldn't you?
Oh my God, don't. You will.
He doesn't even know how to respond to that.
He'll have 6 PAs.
Yeah.
And a driver.
And someone to take photos.
Oh, yeah.
And the driver.
Don't forget he's a full-time videographer. Who was flashing them? Was that Anna?
Yes. Hi.
Hi Anna, how are you? Sorry, we're talking a lot
Good.
about UK incentives, and I realise we've got a lot of people from around the world who maybe haven't got those incentives. So we're going, this is amazing, definitely use it, but you guys can't unless you relocate to the UK. Sorry about that.
I know, that's too bad, but it's so nice to learn about all the amazing things that are happening and how the UK is going to dominate again Europe, it seems like, economically.
Well, it seems like that for everyone outside the UK. For us in the UK, we might have a different opinion, but yeah.
Well, at least that's how I heard everybody speak at this incredible Scale Up conference that you had us have access to. It was interesting. Very nice. Definitely. So would you like for me to share as to my win?
Yes, give us your win of the week.
Remember, Anna, who you are, what you do as a brief, at the start,
yes,
if you can.
yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. My name is Anna Uramian, and I'm the CEO of the Academy of Business Leadership, which is a nonprofit organization that helps young people achieve their biggest dreams. We teach them entrepreneurship, financial literacy, transformational leadership. And I've had over 140,000 kids go through our programs on 9 college campuses, including USC, UCLA, Harvard, LMU, Cal State, bunch of them. And we've had kids come from 18 countries physically to do the programs and from across the United States, primarily targeting inner city kids, but we also mix them up with super high income kids because we want to build bridges of understanding amongst all youth. So this is the nonprofit work. I also represent Lebanon at the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations, which is a premier world body for world peace and religious tolerance. And I advise senior government officials as well as senior industry leaders on strategy. And I do serve on high-profile boards. I've served on the Harvard Women's Leadership Board, and currently I'm part of the International Women's Forum with Hillary Clinton and the likes. So now, big win or small win. I'm excited about the fact that we're preparing right now to have programs for 1,000 young people to teach them entrepreneurship. And I'm excited because we have not done this number with like online. And I'm just excited to see how it is. So if there's anyone who has kids, we have a lot of free programs. We're going to do pitch competitions, summer transformation competition, and we're just taking right now interested people. So we're about to roll it out in this coming month. I'm very excited about that. And then this last week, and then within a week, actually, I won a competition here at Clubhouse. So I'm very excited. And just last minute, a friend pinged me into a room and asked me to share about my story, and it's to show up or to appear on a radio show called Against All Odds, and apparently they have interviewed Grant Cardone, Forbes Riley, Tim Story, and so I was selected by my fellow contestants as well as the jury and the people who were there, so over 500 people. So I won that, and it will, I don't know when it will be, but it will be in front of an audience of 1.2 million people. So it's really nice. I get a chance to share and hopefully tell them about this program that I'm launching. I'm Anna, and I'm complete for now. Thank you.
Brilliant, Anna. Thank you. We was wondering if you've got a better version of your accolades at all. If there's another version of it. We all feel a little bit inferior when Anna's in the room.
Oh no, come on. I love you guys. You're my new family. Like seriously, I thank you for adopting me. I'm serious. Like you just make my night every day. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Right, flash your microphones away and remember who you are, what you do briefly, and then you can have your share. We're going to go with Jeanette, and then I think Karen was flashing, and then we'll go Ned. So Jeanette, go for it.
Morning, lovely people. Got great energy this morning, guys. Are you on something? I have to
Lots
say,
of coffee.
You're on fire. So I'm Jeanette Limford. I'm corporate CEO turned entrepreneur. So I spent 25 years in the travel industry, running very large global travel businesses for TUI, First Choice, Thomas Cook, etc. And then I jumped out about 3 years ago, and now I now have a portfolio of my own businesses, mentoring, property investing, and I also do a lot of board advisory work. And I really bring the best of big business together with small business. So, if you're a business owner and you want to go from 7 to 8 figures, or you're at 8 and you want to get to 9, then, I can help you get there. And I also help executives who really want to get into the boardroom. So that's what I do now. But my win of the week is for my podcast, Brave, Bold, Brilliant. Yesterday, I interviewed the wonderful Jan Mulfit, and we had such a great conversation. So, yeah, that'll be out in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes open for that. But, yeah, I feel really privileged to have had the chance to have a great conversation with Jan. And it's a perfect example of how Clubhouse allows you to meet incredible people, connect in a way that is so meaningful, and it was wonderful. So that is my big win of the week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jeanette. Congratulations on your win of the week. Let me just do a quick reset because we haven't done one. It's just gone 7:15 in the UK. We need some clocks in here, don't we, with telling us where it is around the world with all of our friends. We should have some US time zones and some Lebanon for Anna, and a few time zones. Anyway, 7:15 a.m. in the UK, or 7:16.
Well, you've got proper breakfast radio. It's like being in the studio with Chris Evans.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
I don't know what to say to that,
anyway,
sorry.
we are Breakfast with Winners. This is the Winners Club. If you click on the greenhouse, which is actually above Jennifer's head, not her head in real life, above her head in real life, where I'm looking is a camera.
We should have that as a thing. We should have clocks in the studio, and whoever comes in has to wear the Clubhouse hat. We can have a green hat on their actual head. Imagine that. So they'll be in digital and in real life. Yeah,
this is my last time here.
Coming back. Click on the greenhouse at the top and follow the club. There's been 1,000 new members this week, or over 1,000 new members, which is great. So join the club. Give all of the. Why are you laughing so much?
James is really excited about what he was saying.
She's absolutely mugged me off. Can we get her out? Can we get Lucien back? I know she's a thief, but can we just get Lucien back?
She might steal a screen next time. We need those. They're really important. Or a clock if we get the clocks. I've lost my chain of thought where I am. Follow all of the mods and speakers. If you're new to Clubhouse with Party Hats, this is a community room. So please, you are encouraged to come up, ask questions. You can ask Ashley how to get a new PA and tell your new business partners, don't talk to me, talk to your PA. He's got that system jammed down completely, so he can really tell you and teach you how to do that part.
Somebody say Ashley.
You got a course on that.
So do that, right? Yeah. And
sorry, every time we mention Ashley now, his PA just emailed me. She said, could we have the official Ashley Shipman music for 32 seconds precisely? So every time he talks. Done.
Follow everybody, and do please raise your hands. We will invite you up. You can ask questions. Believe it or not, this week there's been some laugh and some jokes, but we do cover some serious stuff in the Winners Club, and we bring you some great guests. And on that note, we've got some good stuff coming up over the next week, which I'm going to tell you about. We have got on Sunday Daily Habits of High Performance. Who have we got?
We have got Alan coming on this week. Alan, who is in the room very regularly. He's been my
man Alan. He's there now.
He's been a trainer for Tony Robbins for the last 22 years. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We might do some like visualization or some manifesting. We might do some breath work. We're going to do something cool anyway. That's what we're going to do this.
We are going to do something very cool.
How cool is his voice as well? Every time he talks, I'm just like, yeah, this guy. What? Ashley Shipman's giving me like his sexy face. I'm like, no, it's not sexy, it's just powerful. What's wrong with you? Yeah, so Alan's coming on Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
That's the Daily Habits of High Performance. And then if you missed it on Monday, what a room that was. Monday just gone.
That was one of my highlights of the week, actually.
Yeah, so if anyone knows the PR world, there's an agency out there called Ketchum. And they are probably one of the big 6 sort of marketing agencies. They're a big deal. And their global chairman, Rob Flaherty, did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Yep, there we go. He came on Monday, and we've actually got him in the Winners Club for another 3 rooms every Monday. So this coming Monday, the following Monday, and the one after that. And he was slightly controversial at points. I was at a point I was listening and thinking, oh, I don't know if we should be saying this, maybe, but in a good way. And we're going to have more of that. And what he doesn't know about marketing and PR, well, I don't think anybody knows. So
no. He's the guy when like the big companies, like the companies that make your phones and the companies that provide you soft drinks and the companies who make your trainers and stuff, when they want the strategy, Rob is the guy who goes in and sits with like Mr. Zuckerberg, etc., and will come up with the strategy moving forwards for those companies. Like it's he's the guy with the pen and paper creating the strategy. So what he don't know about marketing ain't worth knowing. He's
on at 4 p.m. on Monday again for about 90 minutes, doing another deep dive on marketing, and then we are going to be combining the best of Rob and putting it out as podcasts. And last night, I got to say this because I was listening in, and I don't know, when we're actually in Clubhouse in our own rooms, I pay great attention to it. But sometimes when Clubhouse is on in the background, yeah, you don't pay great attention. But my ears pricked up last night. There was Rita Clifton in one of the Winners Club rooms, who is the vice chair of John Lewis, and she was amazing. So that was recorded as well. So that's going to be coming out as a podcast. So if you haven't already done so, you can click on the Winners Club logo. My face, I'm Paul with a blue background. James is next to Victoria with a pink jumper, salmon pink jumper. You can click on him, or Ashley's new photo at the top, the handsome guy at top left with a nice new photo looking like he's there, the Right Honourable Ashley Shipman at the top.
So his PA just been in touch. She said, can you not hit his face? Could you just caress his face as you touch the screen? So if anyone wants to click, you can't click on Ashley's face, please just gently press his face. Thank you, everybody. And we will henceforth play the Ashley Shipman music for another 7 seconds.
That's enough of that.
Thank you.
So anyway, if you click on our face, you can go through to the Sociate app. There is a button. We are live in the studio, so you can watch the live video. You can also ask a question if you're a bit frightened to come up on stage and don't want to put your hand up. We don't bite, so come on up if you want to. And you can join the Facebook group. And what else was I going to say? You can subscribe to the Facebook group. Yeah, you can join the Facebook group. So you're alerted of all of these great rooms, and you can click to access the podcast, or you can search for the Winners Club podcast on all of the usual podcast platforms where you can listen back to all of the great interviews we've had. And there's quite a collection of them now, so they're really, really good listening to. So you should go back and do that.
There is, yeah. We've released the Dean Kelly episode, the youngest ever CEO of a publicly listed company. And we also, I think on Monday, was it? Yeah, Monday, we had the Ash Ali interview. He was the former chief marketing officer of Just Eat when they IPO'd. So yeah, some really good content coming out.
Dean still holds the award for the best guest car ever to arrive in the car park.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take some beating.
Yeah, you're going
unless Ashley turns up with his new car next week.
Ashley's PA has actually just been in touch, and she said, she said moving forward, Ashley might not be able to drive himself to the studio. And she's asked Paul, she said, have you got from your connections in the old world you used to be in, if you know anyone, but it's got to be an S-class.
We could get reported for bullying here. We could be deemed as bullying Ashley. So we apologise in advance, Ashley.
He loves it. Say you love it.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Guys, literally, the chemistry, entertaining, and I'm sure we'll get to educational.
I'm sure we'll get to it. I wouldn't hold out your hopes.
Who are you? Because you're both in the same studio or room right there.
Yeah, we're in a studio. We lock the door. We don't let anyone out for 3 hours. Jennifer. So basically, it's Jennifer who's next to us. She's here. She's going to be speaking soon. She is here. Honest. She's here.
Click the link and you can see the stream.
Ashley, the guy that we mentioned, the handsome guy, top left with the brand new photo. Did we tell you he's got a new photo? He had a new photo shoot the other day. He's got a new photo. That guy. And I'm Paul with a blue background next to Victoria, and James the other side of Victoria. That's us basically all sitting in the studio.
But yeah, again, there's lots of people who've maybe not tuned in before. If you click the link in the bio, we actually can see us. A 3-camera shoot. We're not messing about, guys. Go onto YouTube or Facebook or click the link and you can choose where you would like to watch this stream.
Really, what's actually going on, Jeff? Let's be honest. I'm a failed DJ. James is a failed radio broadcaster. Ashley doesn't really know what he was doing, and we've come together in a studio to think we're Chris Evans for the morning and providing you with a radio show, and no one's really watching. So that is what's really going on. In all honesty,
that was offensively accurate.
Jennifer helped me from day one.
Yeah.
We're sitting here like,
Wow.
still don't know what we're doing.
I'm watching you guys right now. This is I love your setup, guys.
So yeah, that's it.
It's the best setup on Clubhouse, to be honest. Can you guys just say your name so people get used to the Paul, James, and Ashley, like when you speak? Is that all right?
Yeah, so I'm Paul Abercrombie with the blue background.
I'm James Burt with the questionable salmon jumper.
Oh, I'm Jennifer.
Don't talk over Ashley's music. Right, go again. Concentrate.
I'm not letting Ashley speak, actually. Every time he goes, I'm just going to butt right in there. I'm Jennifer Louise.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Ashley with a new photo, a PA, and looking for a driver.
By the way,
And a driver real soon.
That.
Oh,
I think Paul needs a photo shoot. That's what he's thinking now. He's
Yeah.
set up his photo shoot.
But there's a brilliant Paul.
James is actually on the floor laughing at the moment. Oh, I don't know what's going on this morning.
What's the matter with Paul's
Listen,
photo?
we've got we've got the ex-chairman of Microsoft listening to us, guys. Come on, you've got to up your game. Jan is in the room. We've got to up our game.
Jan's here, everyone. Behave yourself.
Paul's just diverting from his photo.
So that's who we are, Jeff. And thank you for your feedback. It makes us feel like legends for about 3 hours, and then at 9:35 we leave the door and go back to reality. Sunny Ilford is actually the reality, and if you don't know where Ilford is, if you're in America,
Don't Google it.
it's a suburb of London.
You feel
Let's
big
just
time,
leave it
and
like
then
that.
you leave the studio. You go across the road to get a kebab for your lunch, and then you go home.
Oh, no. We're
Real
not.
talk. Yeah, we are.
No.
No, it's part of it. It's not optional.
Yeah.
If you're a guest, you're forced to eat it. Yeah.
Kebab, yeah. Oh, it's a really nice one, though.
Yeah.
It's part of a franchise chain. Don't worry about it, Jennifer Louise. It's well classy.
Okay.
100% beef, honest.
Not sponsored by Pedigree Chum, no.
Probably.
Oh. You can neither confirm nor deny.
It's well classy. That's a good one.
Right. We get back. Come on. Let's get back because in about 4 minutes' time, we're going to really unpeel the onions, the layer of onions on Jennifer. We're not going to cover you in onions, by the way. We're going to
That'd be a good
peel
game
back the layers of Jennifer.
How many onions can we get on Jennifer? I'm going to the shop.
The kebab house will have loads. They'll be pre-cut as well.
Right then, guys. So tactical there. The female mind. That was an insight of the female mind, wasn't it? We talk about onions. Yeah, very, very practical. Right, modern speakers. Flash your mics if you've got a win of the week. Let's go to Victoria. What's your win of the week, my friend?
I can't right now. I am going to think I just can't
compose yourself, Victoria.
I flashed at the completely wrong time when I was having hysterics. Hello. Good morning. This has been great this morning. I'm Victoria with the pink circle next to Okay, I'm back. I'm fine. Okay, so breathe. So we're doing wins of the week. So my win of the week this week is that I actually finished my life coaching accreditation course. So I managed to finish that, 12 weeks completely done. So I'm now accredited, and I woke up this morning to 30,000 beautiful people following me on Clubhouse. So it has been a good morning. It's been a very good morning, and I've also had a great ab workout because of all the laughing I've done this morning. So I no longer need to go to the gym. So that's also a win of the week.
3 wins of the week there. Accredited as a life coach, 30,000 followers, and no need to go to the gym because she's laughed away to 6-pack abs. We'll give that a round of applause. Well done, Victoria.
Ash, do you need a life coach in your entourage to follow you around?
What's your availability, Victoria? What are you like for international travel right now? And do you get travel sick in helicopters? Because that's going to be a core component of being able to be Ashley Shipman's executive mindset strategist.
I don't know if Ash would be able to afford me, if I'm honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, he could sell some stuff and work out, I reckon. There's one thing Ash can do, is turn a quid.
He's currently selling pictures of his feet.
Picture of his feet. That is absolutely made me sick of my own mouth a little bit. That's horrible. Thank you, Victoria, though. Good share. Good wins of the week. Right, let's get some more wins of the week before we deep dive. So let's go to Karen. Hey, sunshines. That's my Karen impression, by the way.
Hey, sunshines. How you guys doing? Happy morning over there for you guys. It's 11:30 over here. Listen, I do so much, but I'll just keep it brief because it's just too much to say. So I'll just say this. I'm a mom CEO of a media enterprise, TV network brand strategist, helping women fearlessly elevate their business and their personal brands through all media. And I'm executive producer of my daughter's show, The Bailey Ray Show, which we're getting closer and closer to launching. We'll be filming this coming Sunday, and then we'll start rolling out everything else after that. I'm super excited because this is the last round of filming that we have to do on Sunday. Now I have to tell you, my win is tomorrow. We're doing an interview with San Fernando Valley Business Journal. We'll be doing our first interview to talk about, my relationship with my daughters and how we have created this business now where we're doing the whole foodie thing, and they're executive producers on Bailey's show. So we're going to have an interview tomorrow. So I'm super excited about that because that's the first of many. And then I got booked for some more interviews, and basically I just had to kind of get out my calendar to start preparing to do all these different interviews with the kids and sometimes alone. So that was great wins for me. So I want to be in the media space so that I can basically amplify our voices for our show coming out, and also to help, start the process of marketing my daughter's food brand. Because as you guys know, that's my jam right now. So that's Karen, and that's it. I'm done speaking.
Awesome stuff. Where's it gonna be? Where can we watch it?
You can watch it. It's going to go through KP Media TV, and it's going to be on Apple, Roku, Amazon Fire, and soon Google TV.
Oh,
we're gonna have to get Ashley a minibus to follow behind his car, because we've now got as part of the entourage, we've got a life coach, we've got an executive producer for the Ashley Shipman show.
Who would not tune into the Ashley Shipman show? Ashley Shipman show. It's not that easy
And I'm
to
sure
say.
by the time we finish with the wins, we can add a few people to this entourage as well.
What about hair and makeup?
Well, there we go. Yeah. Well, have you seen his new photo? Have you seen his new photo? Clearly, somebody must have been doing the hair and makeup for his new photo. They must have. It's not possible to get a photo like that of Ashley without the hair and makeup done.
Airbrushed within an inch of his life. If you would like to apply for a job with Ashley Shipman, please just email info@ashleyshipmanislegend.co.uk/speak to Ash's PA. Thank you very much.
His dad's in the crowd. You know that. We're going to get told off.
Have we ever brought up Gary Shipman?
He's there. He's in the crowd, but we're going to get told off. We need to be careful.
He won't mind. I bet Gary loves a bit of banter. If he birthed Ashley Shipman, you've got to be up for a bit of banter, haven't you? He's flashing. Yes, Gary. Yes, Gary. I actually go, no, don't go to him. Don't go to him. Do you know that, Ash, when we were early on this app, I was like, Ash, your dad's there. I was like, that's so nice, because I haven't got.
Does he come in to keep an eye on him?
No, he's just there to support. And Gary messaged me saying, "Oh, thanks for all the support of Ash." I was like, "What a nice thing." I said to Ash, "Oh, your dad's been in touch with me. Do not bring him up onto a stage. You won't stop him talking."
He did the same to me.
The apple don't fall far from that tree, does it? Right, mods and speakers, flashing lights. What's your wins of the week? Let's find out what this amazing community, this amazing family here on Clubhouse has been up to. Ned, we'll come to you, my friend.
Good morning, guys. My name's Ned. What I do is I connect exhausted fathers with their power to create balance in life. But what I really want to do is I want to be Ashley Shipman's bodyguard. Is that possible? Is the role available?
Have you got any qualifications in martial arts? Because the issue is, Ned, I've looked at your photo. You're quite a slight gentleman, and there's a lot of crowd control that needs. If you go outside onto the streets of Ilford, there's about 17 youngsters waiting for him to turn up. So, I mean, how can you handle big crowds? Basically,
I have to tell you, I'm highly skilled. I'm an instructor in martial arts. So
yes, Ned.
Absolutely. So if you could just, there's a very specific email address for security role. If you could just go security@ashleyshipman.net/keep him safe, that'd be fantastic.
Well, actually, James, this was my win of the week. I have to tell you, I was on the hotline to Ashley Shipman himself on Wednesday.
No, you were. Congratulations, Ned.
Ned, what was he talking about? How to get a PA and take a new photo?
Well, as you can imagine, I had 9 minutes with him. It was, exciting. It was a whirlwind.
They're structured,
and I mean, if I just look at my notes, I can tell you he said things like, lovely. Let's rock and roll.
He's going to seriously beat me, like give me and you a punch soon. Honestly, we need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to him. It's going to be me that gets it.
To be honest, I've got to tell you guys, I know we're taking the mickey, I know he enjoys it, but for anyone that's listening, what Ashley does is he helps people. There's no two ways about it. You can hear it in his voice, and because he's created this room, simply those 9 minutes were able to give me a lot of clarity about what I'm doing right now. So, kudos to Ashley and what he does. And by the way, chaps, I'm on Ashley's side here. So if you do start picking on him,
it's got to be. You're his new bodyguard, Ned.
I know my way to Wilford.
Can you bring the headphones with you?
No, we're actually picking on him because behind the scenes he really does give us some shit as well. A bit like 9 o'clock at night. Have you done that? Have you done this yet? You asked me 10 minutes ago. Calm down. It's 9 o'clock at night. That is what he's like to me and James behind the scenes. So yeah, we get payback in a different way, just not publicly on Clubhouse. So yeah, right. Shall we move on? Susan, we'll go to Susan because Susan's flashing away, and then we'll move on to the next segment of the show.
Good morning, guys. Oh my god, I am crying about what you're saying with Ashley with the phone calls. Ashley, remember when you phoned me once and you phoned me and then you were like, hello, I've just walked into a meeting and loads of people are looking at me so I can't talk. You just rang me.
I don't know.
I don't get it. Oh, it's too funny. Ashley, honestly, when I see that you've called, it lights up my day. I'm crying with laughter.
I wish Paul felt the same. I really wish Paul. Paul don't even say hello to me. Yep. Yep. What do you want?
Oh, honestly, I love it. Ash, remember when you rang me once as well and said, help me meditate? And I literally started speaking for about 10 seconds. And you went, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, you mean he's a little bit impatient? I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah. I would not have guessed that. Why did you want to meditate?
Well, I was hearing how wonderful and magical Susan is. And I was like, she's like, it's all down to meditation. I'm sitting there and I'm like, tell me about it because I need to calm down some way. I need to get a little bit of structure. And she was like, are you having a fag right now? And I went, yeah. She went, see that breathing you're doing right now? She was like, that's a bit like meditation. And then she started explaining to me what I've got to do. And I said, yeah, it's not for me.
Smoking a cigarette, however.
If I close my eyes and picture Ashley at 5 a.m. in the morning, sitting there doing his pre-morning meditation, Jesus. Yeah, lovely. let's rock and roll. I feel well zen. Oh, didn't message the PA. Nah, this is a load of shit. It's not working. No, I'm gonna have a don't know what they're going on about. Let's rock and roll.
But yeah, no. I like the fact that he said whoever likes me calling him because I think I called Paul yesterday and this was the first one. It was, are you my new wife? That was the first comment. I literally call him non-stop.
No, I'm going to look now, actually, because I'm actually going to look at how many times you actually call. I've got my phone book out now. I'm looking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is this just yesterday?
This is 7, 8, 9.
No, it's just this morning.
10, 11. 11 phone calls yesterday from Ashley Shipman.
I'd block his number. That's
like on average. If you take a working day, that's at least 1 hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
More than
1 hour, yeah.
So you are his PA? Oh my God.
Well, somehow Ashley's become my boss. That is like, I just when I thought I'd made it in life, I'm now taking instructions from Ashley. Brilliant.
We were giving Susan an opportunity to have a win of the week. We just hijacked it. From
Sorry,
Ashley
Susan.
Banter.
No, that's okay. This is my win of the week. Oh my goodness. I cry with laughter on a Friday. I don't know what happens to you guys. Jennifer, you must be, honestly, keep redoing makeup if you've got mascara on and you must be crying, literally crying.
She will be after we've got to quite cute questions on Jennifer in a minute.
I love it. I can't wait. But yeah, I've had a really good week. I've become like this speaker. I don't even know how, obviously, well, via Clubhouse, but yeah, I've booked a few things to speak on some Zoom events, which is incredible. And I had an amazing conversation yesterday with Marcus Black, who's on here. And he called me and for about an hour and a half we spoke. And yeah, it was a life-changing conversation. I know a lot of you know this guy on, but he asked me my story of my life, which I don't ever really talk about on here, and then he told me it back as if he was me.
I can't even explain the experience. I was
How
listening at one
cool.
point thinking, what is this? And then I realised he was telling my story as if he was me telling it on a stage. Oh my, it was an experience, I'm telling you. It's changed my life to hear it from him. And yeah, incredible. So I just wanted to share that because it was a moment for sure.
Awesome stuff. And do you know what? On a serious level, I think you're such a nice human being, and I think everything you get, you deserve. No banter. I just think everything you get, you deserve. You put out good energy into the world, and everything you get, you deserve. And if people are starting to now wake up to the spirit and the energy that is Susan, I think good on you. And I think if you, the more you can speak, the better the world will be. Frankly.
James,
No banter. No banter.
Not even with laughter.
No.
Oh, you had to ruin it.
Yeah, got too serious, guys. It got too serious. You got a hashtag emotion. I was like, no, I can't have that. So bantered it at the end, but I meant
when
it.
I see you, I'm gonna hug the shiz out of you.
Well, Jennifer was going to get her teeth into me. Susan's going to hug the shiz out of me. I mean, I might as well just relocate down to the Kent coast, mightn't I? Why not? Thank you for being here. Great win of the week. And how I love that Marcus Black. I would love to hear that and hear what he does with telling you your story back. Let's get Marcus on to hear Ashley's story, and then Marcus can tell Ashley's story back. Imagine Marcus doing an American impression of Ashley Shipman. What would that sound like?
Rock and roll, crack on.
No, that's just your normal voice.
No, I'm just trying to think of some of the words that they would use. I wasn't even going to attempt it.
Right, let's have one more win of the week, and then we'll shift gears a little.
Does anyone listen to Talk Sport in the UK?
Don't need to anymore, do you?
I used to.
Yeah, well, no. Do you know the breakfast show that was Alan Brazil, wasn't it? They used to over time they'd clip out really clips of Alan Brazil, and then they'd play them back. Some of them were quite funny. Maybe we can do something like that with Ashley.
Oh, that would be good.
Clips of the week. Clips of the week.
Clips of the week. That's it. Clips of the week.
Oh.
Would only be 3.
No, it'd be 50, but of the same sort. Lovely. I'm still a gym boy.
Beiju's just at the bar ordering a Bacardi and Coke at that nightclub.
I promise you, right?
Can you turn the music down? Yeah, I'll definitely have nuts. I'll definitely have nuts. Yeah, can you turn the music down? No, I'm telling you about the gym, mate. No. Yeah, lovely.
Right, let's get on. Let's move on from this. So we play some music and reset the room properly.
Go on then.
And then let's get into the next part of where we are.
Well, we're going to have one more win of the week, won't we? Let's have one more win and then we'll shift up. Let's go to Alan.
Hang on, Susan's got another win. Come on, Susan.
Huh?
Apparently,
What, my...
Your other big win.
You tell them, Beiju.
This better be good now. Sorry, Beiju's got to be paying at the bar. Yeah, chip and pin. Chip and pin. Go on.
She's launching her first ever course in school.
Launching her first ever course.
She's created her own manufacturer,
Well, send us the link, Susan.
Yeah, we will all support that.
All in one week.
I think as a community here, Susan being the number one player, that is what once it's live, I think we should highlight the fact that she has shown up every day. She has supported the room, and that is what the community here is for. I've already spoke to Susan about it. I said that we will support her journey, and she said, "No, you can't. You can't." I said, "We are." That's exactly.
Once you manifest, Ash, you can't unmanifest.
Just don't sell snake oil, Susan. Otherwise, you'll get us in trouble. But if you're not, as long as you're not selling snake oil, we'll support you.
Oh, thanks, guys. Honestly, yeah. And my other win is I'm meeting up with Beiju for real. I'm meeting Trey on Saturday and in Ass, and Beiju next week in real life.
At the nightclub? Fantastic.
Yeah,
It'd be like, Susan. He's like, yeah, it's just down the M4 where I'm normally working. Well, not working, walking. And then, yeah, if you just say my name on the door and you get straight in. No worries about it. No, just have to pretend you're at the gym. Anyway, that's enough of that.
And I'm meeting Jennifer on Monday.
Right.
No, we had Trey and Ass coming here, didn't we, a few weeks ago? And they're
it was awesome.
Really, really great. That was good as well. And Beiju as well, by the way.
They did steal nothing, did they?
No,
Jennifer, actually, when Beiju came, he bought gifts. He bought us a signed copy of his book.
Yes. And
Have you read it, actually?
I bought earphones.
Yeah, when Lucienne comes, she actually left with something as opposed to bringing a gift. First of all, she went away with something, so that's great. She had a gift.
Ashley's got my earphones. I gifted them to you this morning, Ash.
Right, one more win of the week, and then we're going to get serious. No, we're not.
Alan's flashing.
Yeah, go on, Alan. What's your win of the week, my man?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
first of all, let me just say thank you so much for the laugh. I've been laughing nonstop since I got here this morning. I pinged a whole lot of people into this room, so hopefully there's a bunch of them have come in and just to enjoy the room. It's been amazing. My win of the week was I ran my first room on Wednesday night, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so awesome. We went on for 4 hours. It was insane, and it was really good. And the feedback I got afterwards, the messages, I had so many messages. It took me like 2 days just to go through the messages and respond. I like to respond to each message individually and thank people for taking the time to message me. So that was amazing. And so I'm excited to run I'm actually started my first club, which is I'm running it tonight. So another one tonight. So I'm excited about that. It's been an amazing week in general. I mean, I moved into this house last Saturday. I can't believe how fast this week has gone. And every morning I wake up here, honestly, I just look out my back window. It's just insane, man. This piece of water, and it's just like, it's incredible. I feel so blessed. I feel like it's just been a win every single day this week. So thank you very, very much for letting me share. I'm somebody who speaks around the world. I've been traveling around the world speaking, sharing my message. I'm a coach, work with people individually, work with groups of people in companies and teams. And I've thoroughly enjoyed coming to this breakfast room since I started coming here. I've been here every day. It's been amazing. Sometimes I get here a little bit late because I've got things to do in the morning. But I thoroughly enjoy coming here. And I thoroughly enjoy coming here every morning because you guys provide so much value. So well done. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks, Alan. Give your club a shout out to everybody. What's your club?
My club is Energizer Club. I actually might just I'll change my picture actually because I've got my picture with it on. Let me do that quickly actually. How good am I doing at this? I'll change it in a second. Oh, there we go. I can do it now. Perfect. Yeah, thanks very much for that. I appreciate that, Paul. Yeah, Energizer Club, and so it is running a room there tonight, which is about finding your voice. Anybody wants to, this app has been amazing for helping people to find their voice. I've been in a lot of rooms where people have been able to share something for the first time, and I've been saying quite a few times now, the real pandemic of the world that we've been facing long before COVID came along is loneliness. It's a pandemic that's been around for a long, long time. And social media has exacerbated that, and because people see, people having great time online and in groups, etc., and they feel really left out. COVID has obviously exacerbated that too, but people have been able to now get to this app, download this app, being invited to this app. I've been walking around. I mean, I was supporting Susie Shaw, myself and Ryan, and maybe went down to the Virginia Water on the other day when Susie was running. And we had a great time down there. And when she came in for a pit stop, we had a little chat. Big hats off to her. Oh my gosh, I mean, she ran for like so long, right? And I think nearly 60 miles, if not more. But the reason I'm telling this is because one of her support staff was sitting there, a young guy, very nice guy. And I said, "Oh, you're on Club?" I said, "No, I've heard about it." I said, "Hey, man, you got to get on it." I sent him an invite right there. Because it's just such a good app for connecting people and people being able to find their voice. And I think that's an important thing. So, everyone's got a voice. Everyone's got a message. Susan, I'm so proud of you, my girl. It's awesome. I can't wait to see you on stages all around the world because you have got a great story. What James said is 100% back that. You have got something to say. You've got great energy. You always make people feel good. You always make people smile. You certainly do for me. And I think the world needs more of Susan. So thanks for letting me share, guys.
Thanks, Alan. We that invite that you sent about the meetup for us to come along, it might have got blocked. Did it get blocked in the spam? No, where Alan met with Ryan.
Oh, no, I think it went to Ash's PA and she said it was a security risk. It was too open that Ned wouldn't be able to protect him from all angles.
Well, he didn't have Ned then,
did he? Oh, he didn't, of course. No, it was pre-ed.
Sorry, Alan?
I'm not following. What did you say?
No, we said when you met with Ryan to support Susan, the invite that you sent to us, I think it was filtered out by Ashley's PA. We didn't get it.
Oh, okay. So, okay, good. Okay.
Sorry. Poor English humour. Yeah, it didn't land very well. Sorry about that.
No, it went over my head.
I'm going to get my coat and go. I'm off. Goodbye.
Taxi. Oh,
Yeah.
you could you use your driver? Ashley's downstairs. No, you got to walk to the train station. Sorry, Paul. Right, let's reset the room then, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Breakfast with Winners, brought to you by the Winners Club. Today sponsored by Pedigree Chum. It's actually not.
It's really not.
They get so much PR value out of us today, aren't they, Pedigree Chum? God damn it. Today we're doing a live stream, so if you want to watch the show as well as listen, click on the link in the bio. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We've got the one and only Jennifer Louise, one of the OGs of Clubhouse. She's in the studio. She's in the room. She's been part of the fam. We don't even say family because we're that cool around here. We just say fam. In it. She's been one of the fam since day one, supporting the room. She's been lovely. She's been ready to rock and roll. And we'll be finding out a bit more about this amazing lady. Who is the person behind this lovely
What
voice?
we're going to do is throw some curveballs in there.
Yeah, why not? Ole, ole. Right, who wants to ask a really awkward question?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Don't know, I just thought it'd be intense. I'm trying to get the seriousness back in this room. Here we go.
James is like the Martin Brashear of Clubhouse. Actually,
Don't
that's
say
not,
that,
you
for
can't
God's
say
sake,
that.
you
but
cannot say that today.
He's a great. He will keep digging with the questions. Maybe that's the wrong reference.
That was definitely the wrong reference.
Inappropriate at this moment in time.
Right. Don't be even have a drum roll in it, frankly. Ash is like, what's going on? Who's Martin? What's he done? Don't worry about it. Just don't ask. Go on then, you can start. I'm going to get the coffees. Who wants coffee?
Yeah.
Awesome. Lovely. Over to you then, Ash.
Yeah. So let's deep dive. Let's deep.
Let's
have a conversation with Jennifer. So Jennifer was the first connection I made on Clubhouse.
Was you in the first ever Breakfast with Winners together?
Yes.
Oh.
And the night before, we was like text messaging, like I was his PA, actually.
Right,
It started that day.
Always finds a way to make someone his PA.
How many people came into that room the first time round, the very first one?
We didn't even realise that we needed to count. We were more concerned about the name of the room, I think, than anything else.
No. At first, we had a few that wasn't Breakfast with Winners. It was just some
Breakfast with a Legend.
No,
it was just some random room names. Wasn't it? We were so worried about the title. And at first, I thought I'd bring some of my team in. I think we had like one outsider join at the time.
Yeah.
And then we just went back to the drawing board, or I went back to the drawing board, blowing up Jennifer's phone at the time.
Yeah. He leaves me alone now, guys. So thanks for that.
and then from there,
it's nice. It's nice to go back to where it all began, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you not think? It's just lovely to go back to where this beautiful journey started. There was Ash and there was Jennifer, and they had some crap room names. Nobody turned up apart from Ash's team because they paid to be there. We didn't pay for followers. We're not that gang.
No.
And that's how it all began here on the Winners Club. Well done, guys. We've come so far.
So what I want to ask is that we kept at it, and what was your journey like at the start? That's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
What was your journey like? Because it's all about Clubhouse here. We can dig into who you are, but that's how we are all here in this room because of Clubhouse. Like, how annoying was I from day one and behind the scenes? And
you weren't annoying, Ash. You weren't annoying at all. I think you were excited is probably the word that I would use.
Like a puppy when you give them a new toy.
But no, I think my journey pretty much started like everybody else's. I'm a public trained speaker, but speaking on a stage, I'm really confident. Speaking on this app for the first time, oh my goodness, I had sweaty palms, I had a dry throat. I was like, take the people away from me. And when I can't see their faces and see their energy and feel whether they actually enjoy what's being said, it kind of distorted how I view stepping up. And yeah, I just got really, really nervous. It helped that I was sitting next to you. And then it wasn't like extra professional. And I think that's what I really love about this
actually
room.
Weren't extra professional. I was just running around like a headless chicken.
Do you know what it was? I think at the start of Clubhouse, there was a real sort of power play for accolades, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a long bio with a load of accolades, you sort of didn't know where to fit in, So I think that seems to have dropped a little bit now because everybody just knows who everybody is.
I think everyone's opened up now, haven't they? And that everybody's become accessible and relatable and just themselves, where I think at first nobody really knew what the app was, where it was going and how to perform, I suppose, on it, because almost, are you being watched? Is this business? Is this pleasure? Nobody really knew what they wanted to get out of it. And I think we all just kind of jumped on and went, okay, what is this thing? Didn't sleep for 3 days. I think everybody, seriously, everybody showered with Clubhouse. Don't lie. You've all done it. And yeah, and then we got burnout, didn't we?
Yeah. And then she had a written warning.
What?
Written warning for the
Yeah, I get written warnings a lot.
for showing up late.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So so let's just have a little bit about you, and let's. I'm sure there's people on the panel that hear you mod the room, and probably want to dig a little bit deeper. It'd be nice because what we're going to start doing as well is putting a lot of the mods in the hot seat. So let's rock and roll and let's dig. I can't even. I've had too much coffee this morning. Let's dig deep into behind Jennifer. So anyone want to ask Jennifer a question? She is in the hot seat. Flash your mics. Flash your mics. Anyone there? So let me just check.
Pete's flashing away.
Pete.
Morning, Pete.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I love you all. That's the first thing I want to say. And Jennifer Louise, you know I am one of your biggest fans. You know that, right? That's the first thing. That was my first question. You know that's true, right? My second question is, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do in terms of work or
everything? The lot.
The lot. Okay. So it all boils down to my passion, really, and my passion project, which is going out to Africa. And I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I build houses out in Africa for a charity called the Cocos Foundation. And it's just something that's in my blood. Like, I'd never been to Africa before I went out on the first mission, if you like. And now every time I go, I feel like I go home. It's really strange. And if I have a successful career, I can go out and do that. If I have a successful home life, I can go out and do that. So it's all about leading up to allowing me to get out there and build houses and change lives and drive the change that we want to see out in South Africa, really.
Did I hear you say that you support last week that you support a family?
Yeah, so we support lots of families. So I'm involved in supporting 7 families. I have one family in particular that is like my little family, and they're not. I can't say that because they're not my family, but I look at them as that. So the first time I went out to South Africa, basically, it's like this 17-day mission. You go out, and the first day is the toughest day. So we go out literally into, and we're not in like Durban, we're really, really South Africa. So we're out in the sticks. It's really, oh, Ash, it's just spilled coffee everywhere. It's really out in the sticks, and it's just heartbreaking to see. But what we do when we go out on the first day is we go around some houses and we view them to see who we build the next house for. And ultimately,
who makes that decision?
We do as a group.
Okay.
And it's heartbreaking. So the very first house that I went into, this lady was blind. She was a go-go, which is a grandma. She had no sight and she had small children. And the house was in really bad. And when I say a house, it's like sticks, mud huts. It's not a house. It's not what we think of as a house. And there was lots of holes in it, and snakes were getting in, and everybody was like, the go-go was really scared that if a snake came in the night, she can't see it, so she can't look after the children. And of course, we're all really upset, and we're like, definitely this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. This person needs a house. Then we go to the next house, and we viewed about 4 or 5. So we've got our 2 houses allocated that we're building. And these are for the next group that come out. And then we go to the next house, and it's a 16-year-old girl that's living out in the sticks on her own. And she tells the story of her father died. Her father and mother I think her mother had died, and then the father got a new wife, and then the father died, and then the new wife, the stepmom, was trying to poison her to kill her because she couldn't afford to feed her or didn't want her in the family, whatever. And so this poor girl was like chased away, basically, and she's living on her own. And there is obviously, in a hut with no door, there's a massive risk of her not being safe. And I don't want to go that deep into it. So then we're like, no, absolutely, she needs the house. We need to build the house for her. And then we go to the next house and the next house. And it's just like, oh my God. And at the end of the day, we all sit down at the table and we literally work out who is going to get that house. But something really magical happened. And I turned up at this house and there was about 7 or 8 children and there was no adult there. And it just broke me. Like, if anyone sees me, this is what I look like. I'm always in heels. I'm always got makeup on. If you watch a video of me, I'm literally got builder boots on, no makeup, hair scraped back, and the most ugly cry in the world. But it absolutely tore me apart because they're living in this mud hut and there's like no door. The baby was sitting by this open fire. There's no adults. There's no, like, they've got no clothes on, some of them. And I just thought, how the hell do I go home to England to my children that have got everything that we've got and leave these 8 kids in this mess? I just couldn't do it. So I got really upset and we took a video and we stuck it up on social media. And within 7 days, we'd raised the £4,500 that it takes to build that family a house as well. Now, I don't think my team were very impressed with me because we had to build 2 other houses. And now I'm like getting all excited about digging the footings for another house. And they're like, oh my God, Jen, this is just crazy. But it just meant so much to me. And it was just a phenomenal journey. And for me now, it's about going back every single year. Obviously, I couldn't in COVID and it absolutely broke my heart. We probably won't be able to go out this year either. So it's going to be next year now. But yeah, it was phenomenal.
What does £4,500 get for a house? Like what when you say a house, what do they get?
Yeah,
a room with a door on, basically, or
it's 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's breeze block built. They are heavy. I tell you now, they are really heavy. The first time I went out there, I trained so hard so that I could be like the woman that lifted 2 breeze blocks and didn't have to ask a man for help. The second time I was less qualified and slightly more like, oh, this hurts. But it is essentially like pretty much the same size as this room with a wall down the middle, doors with locks on, windows with curtains. We do an ecosystem around it. So the guttering collects all the water into a JoJo, which means they have running water, which is just freaking awesome for them. And then we build them a toilet as well.
Wow. Something makes me think over time that within the Winners Club community, we could raise enough money to build a fair few houses over time.
Where is it? Sorry, because I was outside. Is this South Africa?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Kuala Zulu region.
Know where that is, James?
Sidwana is where we go.
So I support an orphanage out in South Africa, which is in Meriteng, which is just outside Johannesburg.
Okay.
And they do something very similar. They've got, is it an encampment where all the houses are built, like the government land?
No, I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so we should go out to South Africa. We should do a road trip.
Wow.
Winners Club road trip.
I think we should. We can get like 8 of us out there and we can all raise. What would be really great is if each and every one of us all raise the money to build 1 house each. Yeah. And then we all go out to build 2 of those houses. And then we have like a little Winners Club village. I love it.
Oh, now we're talking.
We'd have to email Ashley's PA to make that happen, though. So
please don't put another idea in my head because I have to get What I'm saying is
no. But what a good way as a community to give back.
Oh no, 100%. But what I need to do is go and get Paul's strategic planning because it's like I want to go 100 miles an hour, and Paul's like, slow down. Let's work it out. And I'm like, yeah, but just slow down. I'm like, but yeah, no, I think
infuriating, Paul.
We should definitely go and do that. We should definitely do that.
I think within the community here, we could raise some really good.
There's like Tony wants to come out. Victoria
don't
wants
let her
to come out. No, Suzanne wants to come out. There's lots of us.
It's one of those experiences that genuinely changes you, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh,
I'll never forget the first time I went and I saw the kids eating out of a plastic bar. I just had a baby, so my baby was 6 months old. Yeah.
So just to make it clear, if anyone has just joined the room, what is the costings and how does it work?
So we do it via fundraising, and everyone thinks fundraising is really difficult, and it really, really isn't. Like you can do it so easily, and there's places like Barclays Bank which fund match, Santander fund match as well, so you can get the cash together really quickly. But it's important to me that we don't just pay for it. we raise the funds. And the reason why that's important to me is because it's raising awareness to everybody that helps.
100%, yeah.
You know, rather than just taking the money out of my pocket and going, right, I'm going to Africa, then nobody else gets to be involved and nobody else gets to hear about that. So it is very important to me that we raise the funds. And it's very important to me that my team get the opportunity to go out there as well. So as a business, we've raised, we've been involved in building 11 houses so far. We've raised, I think, 50, I think it was like 15,000 something pounds already. All of my team that have wanted to go out there have gone out there, so they get that life-changing experience as well. Because I think that that's really important. And also I think it's really important because I've had, you know, I had a really, really bad email from somebody once saying, well, why don't you just send the money out there? Why are you going out there? Because you could get more houses with that money if you didn't go out there. And it upset me for a minute. And then when I was thinking about it, you know, when we go out there, it gets into your heart. And I don't think the charity would survive as much if people just chucked money at it.
No.
Because people like me would have thrown some money at it and probably wouldn't have, you know, you view this over a lens. You don't get emotionally connected. You don't get emotionally involved. You don't get that transformation in yourself. And so therefore you forget about the charity as quick as it came into your
100%,
life.
yeah.
Whereas what we do is take people out there to have that journey and really get inside
You need
their
to experience
core.
it, don't you? You need to put your boots on the ground and actually go and like feel the heat of the sun and like see these places where they're living. And
yeah. And
100%.
I think that day one breaks you, but the amazing thing is the children and the people over the course of the next 17 days build you back up, but into a completely different person. It's amazing.
How long do you go out for? 18 days?
17 days.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Oh, amazing. Oh, we should definitely go and do something like that as a winners club.
Yeah, but could you imagine if we take Ashley's team with us, we'd have to charter our own 747 or something to fit them all on.
It's not going to look good for charity, is it? If Ashley's going on his own chopper to get there, he lands in the middle of the town. Yeah, you can. You've got first-hand experience of what we're talking about, probably a little bit, Alan. I would have thought.
Well, actually, Jennifer and I had a Zoom call. We had a great chat. And Jennifer, just to fill you in, what happened since that call you and I had, I spoke to Coach G actually, and he's keen to he wants to know what's happening. He's keen to get involved. I spoke to a couple of other Springboks out in South Africa. Well, one of them in South Africa and one of them in France, and they're keen to do whatever they can. I also spoke to one of my mates, who's a black guy living in the States, inspired by Nelson Mandela. He's an artist. He makes the most amazing art. And I remember I told you, Jennifer, I asked him to submit one of his best pieces for auction. So I think we can raise that money easy. I told you. And also, I've spoken to a couple of my mates in South Africa because I'm actually from the area that Jennifer supports. I grew up in that area in KwaZulu-Natal. It's we have, like you've got counties here, we have provinces, and KwaZulu-Natal is a huge province, and that's where I grew up. And so KZN is close to my heart. I mean, I supported an AIDS charity, an AIDS orphanage for many years out there, along with the Rotary. I used to go and visit them, and it's heartbreaking. To cry every time I went up there. But they were just, these kids are so happy, they're such good people. Like Jennifer said. They're amazing people. I mean, the true spirit of Ubuntu, which is just family. We all one is all. And what Jennifer said is accurate. You go out there, and Africa gets into your blood, and when you come back, you're not the same person, and you just change because it's this incredible place. But I was saying, I spoke to some of my mates out there, and if you guys are really keen to go out there in a group, I already told Jennifer I'm 100% on board with her. 100%. I'm going to do whatever I can to help her. And I've spoke to some mates out there. If you guys are keen to come out there, you guys won't have to worry about where you want to stay, because my mates will look after all of you.
Oh, you are so sweet, Alan. Thank you.
We're there with bells on, aren't we?
Well, I think we have to probably talk about something like this after I've had to arrange a fundraising campaign.
It's difficult to get out there at the moment. There's been so strict on lockdown. So my mate who runs the orphanage, she got told by the High Commission. She deals with the British High Commission a lot. And they said, this was right at the beginning of lockdown. They said, look, we're not letting UK flights in for a year.
Yeah.
No one's coming in for a year. They're only just letting trade flights go in from the UK. Virgin, for a lot of their sort of supplies are out for them and stuff. And even they're struggling to land.
But James, that's going to start changing pretty soon. But the world is changing right now as we speak in terms of this whole lockdown thing. So you never know. In the next 3 to 6 months, that could be very well different.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I was speaking to Chris Connors, the founder of the Cocos Foundation last night. He said, one of my absolute best friends.
You've brought him up. He's on the stage.
Yeah, he's actually on the stage now.
What now?
Yeah.
Where?
Nice sunglasses, smiley face. Next to Pete.
Okay.
So yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
cool.
Hey, Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was just saying that we were speaking last night, and we don't think it's going to be this year, do we? We think it'll be
No,
next.
it won't be this year because also the other challenge that you have is getting everything organised for a trip. That process does actually take a year. So the families that you will be building for, the risk assessments have to be done. We have to introduce ourselves to the family. A relationship has to be built because it's quite a big deal for the family. Often we deal with child-headed families. So you might get a 12-year-old looking after an 8-year-old looking after a 4-year-old. And for that 12-year-old, he is head of house. He owns his family. It's his brothers and his sisters, and he protects them. And for a lot of people just to walk straight in and just build a house, it doesn't happen like that. It takes time to build a relationship. And I go out there a lot over the course of a year, 2 years, building that relationship, looking after those kids, making sure they're all right, and the extended families. And before we can bring in a group of volunteers, to be able to give back. We're looking at next year. Hopefully, next year's trip, we're taking a group of youngsters out in August of next year, and that'll probably be our first trip. With a little bit of luck, we'll be able to then roll it forward and be able to get back out of the game. But in the meantime, we haven't stopped building. Our local team there have built a maths and science centre for £65,000, and we've just populated it with all the science equipment and etc. For to help these kids gain an education, so they can get on to university and college, and so ideally we can get them out of poverty and they can look after their own families to make it more sustainable.
Oh, Chris, thank you for jumping in. It was great to hear your voice this morning.
My pleasure. I'm sitting here listening to the first half of this show. I was in stitches, I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Can I ask a question, you guys? This is Anna.
Yeah, go for it, Anna.
Hi. You mentioned one of you, I'm not sure who said that you're supporting an orphanage in South Africa. Who was it?
That was Alan.
That was me, Anna.
Oh, Alan, that was you. Okay. I was like, okay. And Jennifer, you're not involved with that? It's just Alan? Okay, that's awesome.
No, but
No,
we do
okay.
support orphanages and nurseries and all sorts of different things. There's 4 facets to the charity, actually. So there's the building of the houses. Then there's the Skills for Life, where we help the younger generation learn skills that will eventually lead to jobs. There's Food for Food. So we feed with food parcels, and then we also feed, we do like after school and breakfast clubs in schools, and then there's the Clothes for Clothes as well. So we actually collect clothes all around the UK, and we turn them into cash, and then we take the cash out there and buy school uniforms and beds for the houses that we build. Because actually what we did was we created a massive problem. We started building these houses with these concrete bases, and then all of a sudden that little mud dip that you see in the mud huts where they sleep, they actually make like a little dip in the ground where they curl up in, and they can't do that on a concrete base. So then we get beds, and another really beautiful lady makes some curtains, so we make it really homely for them as well.
That's amazing. I mean, you when I heard orphanage, my ears perked up. As someone who grew up in orphanages my entire life, it's just a very, very distinct psychology for the kids and just how they are. I grew up with hundreds of them. So if I can support you guys in any way, I'm definitely very, very interested.
Go follow the Coco's Foundation on Instagram. And you can find out loads about them there. And in the link in their bio, there's a button where you can donate or learn how to get involved.
Sounds great. Now, are you still on the hot seat? Can I ask you a question?
I am indeed.
Okay, I'm enjoying this. You guys are just hilarious, cracking us all up. And I know Jeff said, it seems, or somebody said, like, we're on SNL. or no, actually it was Liba who said that. It's so true. So Jennifer, in your bio it says that you are let's see, you help salon owners primarily to unlock their wealth. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so
Why just salon owners? Is there a reason? I'm sure there is.
there
So
is
can you tell us?
indeed. Yeah. So I own a salon. I have a salon. I've had it for 17 years. And 10 years into that journey, I nearly lost the business. I nearly went bankrupt because I didn't know how to run a business. I was a brilliant hairdresser that could cut great hair, but didn't have a clue about the cogs and wheels that actually make a successful business. And so just coasted along for 10 years. I was what I call an upper. I kind of rocked up, opened up, cut a bit of hair, cashed up and locked up. And that was me for the day. And yeah, so I nearly lost it. And then I had to go and learn how to run a successful business. That then gave me a business with great cogs, but then I didn't have any cheeks on seats, which was really annoying. And I needed then to learn to how to go and get more clients. So I just studied and studied and studied and went to every business seminar and just read every single book that I possibly could. And once I'd got those skills and turned my business around, I'm now super, super passionate about passing that over to other salon owners, because typically, you know, talking about the technician moving into the business owner, into the entrepreneur, owners are technicians because we either worked for a boss that we didn't like, or we thought we could do it better, and so off we went, but we actually didn't get any business knowledge behind that. So that's why I specialize in salon owners.
That's amazing. Are you familiar with the work of Laurel Langmeyer from The Secret?
I am, yes.
We're interviewing her at the Leadership Institute, a club here on Clubhouse, on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. to possibly 7. Would love to invite you. I know it's kind of late, so I don't know if you can.
Nice, Anna. That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
well,
you.
It's
Laurel's
at 1:30
awesome.
a.m. If you want to, anyone who would like to join here as mods or just to come, please DM me.
Yeah.
You want to come, Alan? Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming. If anyone in the
awesome.
audience doesn't know, Laurel Langemeyer, you got to check out. She's actually on Clubhouse, so you should follow her. She's amazing. She's an amazing speaker. Amazing
Absolutely.
speaker.
Yes, and she's helped thousands become multi-millionaires. She helps you set up systems. So that's why, Jennifer, I thought when I read in your bio about your helping salon owners, I thought, oh, you might be interested. It's at 1:30 a.m. I looked it up in the UK time, so I'm not sure if you can be up.
I'll set an alarm.
Okay, perfect. See, like I stay up for you guys because I love you guys. Seriously, I am. It's like 12:16 a.m. where I am at. I'm in LA, so. And Karen too, my love here. Anyways, we're staying up for you guys. And where are you out of, Alan?
I live in London. I used to live in Newport Beach, Anna.
Oh my goodness, very close by. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm in London. I'm
awesome.
up now too.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much. We'd love to have you, and you're amazing, and all of you guys here. This is incredible.
Thank you, Anna.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
If anybody else has got any questions that they would like to put to Jennifer Louise, feel free, because I know that she often mods the rooms and she drops wisdom, knowledge, and useful bombs of information. That was a weird analogy, but she's on here a lot, sharing a lot of stuff. So if you'd like to,
I have a question.
Go on, Alan. What's your question?
Jennifer, when are you doing this the fundraiser? Have you decided yet?
We're going to have a chat about it later on, but the sooner the better, really, because the longer you're fundraising, the more people get to know about it, right?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And just in the short term, guys, sorry, Alan, to jump in there. If you click on the Winners Club, or go through to our bio, me, James, Ashley, I'm Paul, by the way, with a blue background, James and Ashley, click through to our bios. There's a button on there on that link that says Coco Foundation. So we've put a link to the charity. So if you want to find out a bit more information, you can go and click on that and go through to find out some more information.
Awesome stuff. We'll put that in the, we've got quite a few people watching the live stream. We'll put it in there as well. Let's do that. Awesome stuff.
James, I have a question. It's Lucienne. Can I ask it?
Well,
I'd like you to be quiet, Lucienne.
Unfortunately, we've got a very strict rule today of no thieves on stage. So probably not.
If you could
Yeah,
see me,
go on
I'm
then.
hanging my head in shame.
Go on then. Why not? Ask a
Shame head.
question. Go on.
Brilliant to hear about what you've done and how you've achieved it. We've heard about the salon, we've heard about the fundraising and the house building, and yesterday you mentioned the bodybuilding as well. And it's really interesting to me because of this, like, you know, being a strong woman, just being one thing. We're not just one thing, are we? We're lots and lots of different things. And I would love to hear a little bit more about your bodybuilding and ask you, what else do we not know about Jennifer that we're going to find out over the next couple of years that's going to surprise us?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So the bodybuilding thing was more about, could I do it mentally? Because I know I just knew it was going to be absolutely grueling. I went through a competition prep. I didn't want to do the competition, and there's a reason why, and that is because I had, at the time, he is now 21, but at the time I had an 18-year-old son, and strutting around on stage in basically a bra and a pair of knickers and having lots of photographs taken, I just felt was really disrespectful to the relationship between me and my son, because those pictures would be everywhere. So I went through it with my friends in the gym, and I did exactly what they were doing. But I just wasn't going to do that end piece of standing on stage. My God, week 1 and week 2, I was vile. Like vile. I was eating 7 times a day. Like,
it's hard work, isn't it? Just the food's hard work, isn't
no
it?
sugar. Like, all you do is think about food. And I was literally pushing it down me. Like, I naturally can't eat that much, and it was just, yeah, really, really strange. Mentally, physically exhausting. I was going to the gym twice a day, every day. It was just crazy, but I had the most amazing body. I was super, super proud, and I loved looking in the mirror at what I saw, until a conversation with my mum, who was like, you look really manly now. Your shoulders are really manly. I was like, shut up, Mum. I'm proud of these shoulders. But yeah, I loved it. And I've kind of semi started that journey off again. I'm not going to go as mad and as silly as I did beforehand, but I'm definitely going to chase a halfway to where I was again, now that we're out of lockdown and I can.
Brilliant. And what else do we not know about you, Jennifer, that's going to surprise us? You thought you got away with that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What are we going to find out about you that we don't know?
What are you going to find out about me that you don't know?
She's now made an application to be Ashley Shipman's bodyguard.
I used to be a doorman.
Oh, well, there you go.
Did you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think we need a repeat of that email address.
Did you really used to be a doorman?
Yeah, I did.
Door
A
person.
door lady. Yeah.
Where? Down in Ramsgate?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
What
That's
bars and what did you?
amazing,
Where did you
Jennifer.
work?
So on
Oh
the
my
door
God,
of the
Jennifer, I think I remember.
Yeah,
Was
you
Did you get-
Royal?
the Royal.
I think Jennifer didn't let me
She
in.
refused your entry a few times. You're not coming in.
Get your manifesting and get out of here, you drunken mess.
Yeah, that was
way.
me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting time in my life. I then met my husband. That went well, being married to a doorman who was a bodybuilder.
Oh, was he a doorman?
Yeah.
Okay. The plot thickens.
Yeah, the plot thickened.
I'm really sorry that Ned's become unemployed from Ashley Shipman's bodyguard job. In
Just
one
need Jennifer.
in one morning, he's got the job and then lost the job at the same time through no fault of his own.
Jennifer's multi-talented. She can be the bodyguard, stylist.
PA. Oh my God.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
it.
Got a job for life,
Everyone
Jennifer.
else is sacked.
Job for life.
Can you fly a helicopter?
No. Paul can
Not-
fly the plane though.
Paul can fly the plane.
Can we all fit in the plane though?
Oh, you don't want to go up in that thing, honestly. I was giving it loads on social media going, I'm going up in a plane. And 20 minutes later, I was like, I wish I wasn't in a plane right now.
Did you feel sick?
Yeah, I nearly had to puke in my laptop bag. I didn't have a plastic bag.
Have you
so
not heard the
honestly-
story? This is brilliant. No. Right, so I'm sitting there trying to concentrate on what's going on, obviously, for right
Safety
reasons. Yeah,
purposes.
and James starts unpacking his bag. He had a nice laptop bag. We was going to quite an
No
important.
joke.
We was going to quite an important meeting. We was going to meet. We was flying to a meeting, and as you do, casual.
Yeah, of course.
And he starts unpacking his bag and starts taking the contents of the bag out and putting it behind the seat. So I thought, what's he doing? Why is he unpacking his bag? And then he opens his bag in front of him in his lap like you would a sick bag on an aeroplane, and he's prepared to be sick in his nice leather laptop bag because there was no other bag there.
There's another option. I didn't have a
You
plastic
can't
bag.
exactly wind the window down.
No, and then
Yeah,
on the
down,
way
can you?
back, we had a really nice lunch where we went to a pub in the middle of England, and really, really nice lunch. And then we get back to the airfield to come back. So I spend all the time doing the pre-flight checks, as you do, and we get ready. We fill up the plane with fuel, just about ready to go. No, we can't leave yet. I've got to go and get a sick bag. So now James running around the airfield, going into the offices and the little shops, trying to find a sick bag for the journey back.
It was so funny. The guy was like, "Oh, you know what you need, mate? He's like ginger biscuits." I was like, "Brilliant! Did you sell them?" He went, "No, I ain't got any." Well, mate, well, just give me a plastic bag then. So they literally gave me a Sainsbury's bag to puke up in on the way home, just in case.
Oh my God! Did you check it for holes?
No, I didn't care at that point. I was like, "It's better than my laptop case."
Thankfully, he wasn't sick, because if he was, I think we would have really fallen out, because that is not a pleasant experience. It's definitely a small cockpit, and to be in that, and it was like an hour and 50 minutes flight, and we wouldn't have been friends if he'd been sick in that plane, honestly.
That would have stank.
Yeah, it was not good. It's when we were flying over Birmingham and you were like, "Oh, look over there." And he's trying to point all this stuff out. He's like, "Oh, you never get to fly over city centres because normally it's really busy from air traffic perspective." We fly right over the city. He's like, "Look, there's a Villa Grand over there and there's that." I'm going, and the whole time I was going,
Oh my gosh.
Well, survived there, didn't I? Survived to tell another day. And note to self, always take a plastic bag on a small, light aircraft. That's the wisdom for today.
Right, you should sit down now, because this segment of the show, we're moving on to you.
Yeah, but Jennifer's
up a
done
chair.
such a nice job. I don't think anyone needs to hear it. Like, I'm not doing
course we
anything.
do.
I've never dated a bouncer.
I
Although
married him.
I actually did do a night on the door once just to prove my dad wrong.
Have you ever been a bodybuilder?
No, look at me. Do you think I did? Let that go quickly, didn't I? I used to eat a lot of chicken broccoli thinking that was going to do it, but it turns out you have to still pick up the weights.
Yeah.
I saw a picture once of a greasy oiled up beiju, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm having that. I'm having that. I'm going to beat it."
That'd be Ashley's next.
8% body fat.
8%, not 8%.
What was it? What did you get to? 12. Yeah, you look like a 12%er to me.
Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to move on to a quick 20-minute Q&A, deep dive with James, and then we can open the hand raising or to general questions to Jennifer or James. I think that's how we should do it.
Yeah, why not?
So let's just quickly reset the room.
Why have I got Steptoe and Son music? Here comes the class clown. They said it never amounted to anything, and now he's every day on the Winners Club.
Sit down.
Mr.
You're not
Wa-
taking this part. Get ready. So this is the Winners Club, everybody. We are one of the
Stand up. I've got better energy when I stand.
one of the, I think, the best clubs on Clubhouse. So click on the greenhouse, follow the club. We're supposed to be bringing you entrepreneurial, marketing, networking based content. Today we completely lost our way and we're talking about a load of old nonsense, except for the last 20 minutes when Jennifer brought some sensible conversation to the room. But if you're going to stick around for the next hour or so, hopefully we'll still continue to bring you some great value. So follow the club, follow all of the moderators and speakers we have up on the panel, and do all of those things. That would be great.
Ashley can't be bothered with this bit. He's left.
Oh, don't worry, I missed it.
Right. So we asked a question earlier in the room. What does James have one of that everybody else has two of?
Yeah, I still don't know the answer.
Did anyone get the answer?
Good riddle.
Who wants to? What was that, Beiju?
He said a bollock.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear.
I'm still in the gym. I'm just about to leave.
He said
Too
that
much
2 hours
testosterone,
ago.
didn't he?
Anyone?
You
else?
know.
What's a bollock? Children.
Oh, Anna, you can't ask that question.
Google it, Anna.
Don't Google it, Anna.
Oh.
Don't Google it. For God's sake, don't Google it.
Don't even do
friends, Beiju.
You guys are so wild.
Right.
Kidney.
Oh, who was that?
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Michelle Kidney. Does she know the answer?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Clearly.
James mentioned it ages ago.
You mentioned it yesterday as well, I think.
I mention it all the time. I like to dine out on it as much as possible.
How had I never heard that story until he told me yesterday?
Because you never listen. That's the problem.
You're right. Yeah, not to you anyway. I zone off after a while. Yeah, you're right. A kidney. There we go. Well, that wasn't so.
You've won a prize. You've got a can of Pedigree Chum coming to your door. Please send us your address, and Ashley Shipman's PA will ship it out to you imminently.
Thanks, I'm vegan. But
Well, we've got vegan Pedigree Chum. It's called Vegemite Chum. It's not for you anyway. It's for your dogs. Are your dogs vegan? Anyway, we've got all kinds of stuff in the Pedigree Chum gift set that's going to you.
Right. So, just very quickly before we get to this, if you click on the Winners Club logo, go through to the bio, the charity that Jennifer was just so kindly speaking about, Coco's Foundation, there is a link on there on that page. You can click on the button and go through to find some more information out. And we're going to have a bit of a chat after this show to find out how, as a Winners Club, the community, how we can support the charity and if we can pull a fundraising effort together and make something happen for over the back end of this year into next year. So we'll see what we can do and we will keep you updated on that front. So who is James Burt? Apart from being the resident comedian, the Chris Moyles impersonator, and the legend of the Winners Club.
Getting ready for this question.
Who is James Burt? Actually, my first question is, when you have your new photo shoot,
Yes.
have you decided what colour jumper you're going to have next?
I'm gonna invert my image. So I'm gonna go Larry and a slightly offensive turquoise jumper, salmon background. How'd you like that?
Nice.
There you go.
Because somebody else rocked up on the stage about 2 days ago and they were like, I'm in the salmon pink jumper and the blue background. And I was like, that's not James.
How?
Salmon pink is a bit of a controversy now because apparently they dye the salmon, don't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God.
Oh.
Have you watched that? You've watched it, haven't you?
Yeah. So it's my friend's son.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Why has he not been a guest yet? Come on.
He will.
He's very busy, apparently.
He is very, very busy at the moment, but we will. His girlfriend has her hair done at my shop. So.
Okay.
Ask her when you're about to cut it. Can we?
Are you sure?
I think you should go on that show.
We'll get them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've digressed. Don't stop deflecting this. So who is James Burt?
What do you want to know?
Well, I don't know. You made me feel uncomfortable for an hour and a half.
Well, I did, yeah. And I've only got 20 minutes. That's fine. So I don't know, just a normal guy with a big dream.
And what's this dream?
To work with Ashley Shipman, and sometimes dreams can come true.
We Beju identified with you the other week in coaching that you use humour to deflect.
I have always done that. I don't know if I deflect, I just like it. I was always the class clown, but they always lumped that at me like it was a bad thing. I was like, and I was always told off like drumming on the tables, and they were like, James would be, what did it say in my school report? James would be very intelligent if he listened as much as he talked. And James is a nice boy, but a positive distraction in group environments because no one else
But
concentrates.
surely that's the entrepreneur in you, right?
I don't know really. I don't know.
You've not worked with him closely. There's not much entrepreneur in him.
There's nothing much there, to be honest. It's just banter and getting around good people. I'm like, I'll tell a joke and I'll get Paul Abercrombie to run a business for me. I'll tell you what, it is panning out well so far. Yeah, I don't know. I was always the class clown. I didn't really like school, although my wife has banned me from saying that around my son who's about to go to school. So I don't say that. She's like, no, you did enjoy it. I'm like, I really didn't. Just because I found it a bit boring, to be honest. I just liked getting up and running around, and I guess these days I'll be like ADHD or something like that. They definitely label me with something, but I just like making people laugh. And the last day of school, secondary school, we had a head teacher called Mr. Way. Mr. Way, Mr. Way, Mr. Way. Do you remember the song It's the Way, the garage song? He hated that, especially if you sung it at him. And he had a massive head, like a Toblerone. It was so funny. I'm Facebook friends with him now, ironically. And he said to me, he shook my hand as I got my GCSEs, 4 Bs, 5 Cs and a U. Deal with that, considering I bunked off half of the final year. Yeah, boy. And he said, I shouldn't really say this. He said, but you are either going to make £1 million or go into jail. I'm not sure which. And
nor you yet.
No, neither am I. But let me just say that every time I see the old bill, I duck down just in case.
And for an American listeners, the old bill means police.
The police.
There you go. Someone let Ashley in. He can't get in.
No.
He's at the door, banging on the door.
Hi, Ash.
Can we at least get a photo of that before?
We've left him outside. How long should we leave him outside for? That's the question.
7 minutes. At least 7 minutes.
I've still got access.
Oh, God.
So, why you're known as the podcast king?
Yes.
Don't know who tagged you with that line.
Myself.
Yourself, yeah. Self-declared podcast king. Why podcasting? Why audio? Why podcasting? How did that journey into podcasts How did you get into podcasts?
I think it goes back to being the class clown, the Joker. I just always liked making people laugh. So I left school and I did a variety of different jobs. I did 34 jobs before I was 30, trying to find my way in life. And I started off as a greenkeeper when I was 13. I got offered the job. Do you know the guy on the driving range who drives around the little buggy and collects the balls on the driving range, and everyone subconsciously tries to hit the guy with the golf ball? I was that guy. But at 13, I got offered that job. It was fantastic. £5 an hour. I was absolutely falling out. No, I had a cage around me. I had a cage. So they gave me this Kawasaki, like a golf buggy thing. I used to turn. I was 13 years old, remember, and I was getting paid £5 an hour, which was a fortune back in those. Or it felt like a fortune. And I used to go down there. I used to have my Speed Garage mixtape. So I'd go and listen to. I'd probably be listening to Body Groove. I'd be smoking a Benson Hedges fag, and I'd have one hand on the steering wheel. I think I was an absolute gangster collecting all these balls on the golf range. And that's probably where I had my little entrepreneurial spirit. And that's why I couldn't be bothered with school. So I was like, if I could get out of school, which is 6 hours a day, £5 an hour, I could do 30 quid a day. If I did that 5 days a week, I was good at maths. I could make 150 quid. If I did that I could be doing nearly 1,000 quid. I was like, Jesus. And all my mates were like, no. So I used to buy all the fags and the cider because I had all the money. And so that's where I sort of had that bit of entrepreneurial spirit. But I was always the class clown. And I left school, did some variety of things. I was a building labourer. Sold double glazing. I did a night on the door to prove my dad wrong because he's like, you can't, because he was very well to do. He's like, you should not be a doorman. You're not big enough. I was like, watch me. So I went to go and get qualified, but then I was like, actually, I'm just going to get my head kicked in on because I am tiny and I've got small man syndrome. Like a Jack Russell who's really angry at a Rottweiler. I'm that guy. And then so I was working on the building sites. My dad was like, I don't really think this is for you, is it? I did that for like 18 months. It was really good. I was fit and healthy. But even the people on the building sites were like, look, you need to go and do something with your brain. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went to become a holiday rep. So I left at 19 years old. I left home. I left home at 16, actually. Story for another time. And I re-left home at 19 and went to work in the sunny island of Menorca. And then, I was voted as the world's worst rep, according to the Saturday Express. Story for another time. Maybe don't bring that up. Jeanette probably knows about that because she was in the travel industry. I was literally voted the world's worst rep. It was hilarious. It wasn't even my fault. It was never my fault. And then, I saw all the people in the hotels having more fun than me. And I was like, I would like to do the hotel entertainment thing. Like, I should do that. Slight issue. Like, I've never sung or danced. And you need to be able to sing and dance. And they're like, can you sing and dance? I was like, yeah, easy. So I hadn't, and I couldn't really. But I listened to a lot of Robbie Williams swing albums. And it turns out if you've got enough chat, you can probably get your way through singing swing songs. So
there's a great song on one of those albums, Mr. Bojangles.
Mr. Bojangles is a classic. Classic. And so I was a holiday entertainer for 2 years, and then I got sacked from Thomas Cook for gross misconduct. Another story for another time. World's worst rep.
Another story.
Oh, actually,
so hold on. There's a growing theme here. You've been sacked from everything you've been involved with.
Yeah, basically.
So far, that's what I'm hearing.
Actually, now I think about it, I'm unpacking that. That was because of an entrepreneurial venture. Unemployable, yeah. So we used to have to sell these CDs at Thomas Cook. Like when you used to go on the package holiday. You've probably never been on one, Jennifer Louise. You're too posh. Paul Abercrombie's definitely never been on one. He's not flying. So package holiday. Do you know what a package holiday is? So you go there and they do the flights and the accommodation, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You basically stay in a hotel. It's an all-inclusive hotel. Anyway, at the end of people's holidays, all the club songs that you play for the kids and the disco and all that sort of stuff. Normally the holiday companies will sell the CDs.
Did they?
So they'll have their own music. Yeah. You've never been on a package holiday?
No.
You are well posh, to be fair. You're from Ramsgate. So we used to have this CD you used to sell, and me and my mate, she was a fantastic singer. When she said, when we get back to the UK, because we weren't going to carry on doing the holiday park thing, she's like, we should go and start doing, working men's clubs and stuff. So we went and had a demo. It's as classy as it sounds. It's really weird. As I unpack it, I realise how illustrious this career has been, all colourful. So anyway, we went to this recording studio in the middle of Paphos in Cyprus. It's getting classier and classier. And we recorded a demo CD to basically sell to agents. Anyway, we used to do these singing and dancing shows. And at the end of the shows, they were like, people used to come up to say, oh, have you got anything have you guys recorded? Do you sell anything like that? I was like, no, we haven't. And then we had this demo CD down. I was like, hang on a second. We've got to sell the CDs for the company for €13. I was like, why don't we do a bundle deal? So you can either buy the clubhouse, not the clubhouse, the dance club CD from the holiday company for €13, or we've got a special you can buy, and you could buy our team CD as well. So we had about 100 copies of this team CD printed, and we started doing it as a bundle deal.
Obviously, not sharing the revenue with Thomas Cook.
Not sharing the revenue with Thomas Cook.
I can see why you got sacked.
They saw very little of that money.
That's like somebody coming into the Winners Club and pitching something else, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Frowned
He
upon.
wasn't bothered about his wages. And there's always James doing.
Yeah, what's he doing? And so I did that, and then someone grassed us up for doing it, and then the island manager came one night to listen because we had like a downstairs bar where the stage was, and there's me giving it loads. And I was like, I'm not sure we have like proactively like pitched it like that. And he's like, do you want to hear a recording of you doing it? And there's me going, thanks everyone for having a fantastic holiday. Don't forget to get your CDs. It's €13 if you want the club CD. And if you want the bundle deal, it's just €20. Come and see me and Julie down at the front of the stage. And I couldn't really argue it. I was like, yeah, fair play. Do you know what they did though? I went back the next year and they'd started doing it. So all of the teams started to be recorded and they'd sell it as bundle deals.
So when they sacked you, did you have to get your own flight back?
No, because they'd handled it badly. I like escalated this. I just try to long it out for as long as possible. Because they're like, right, gross misconduct. You got to go and stay in your apartment now, and we'll deal with this in the next 2 weeks. So I'm in Cyprus in a fully paid up apartment. I was like, well, let's see how long we can drag this out for. And so that's what I did. And they then they had not handled it appropriately apparently because they were a bit rude to us. So they ended up having to pay us to fly back, and they had to pay us an end of season bonus because that's the only thing I wanted was the end of season bonus. And so that was it. So then I flew home.
See some of these moves.
We've only got 20 minutes though, so hurry up. How did you get into podcasting was the question.
Just before,
sorry about that. Yeah, go on.
It's like this rumor that I haven't seen or heard yet. X Factor. Have you said it?
No, we're going to come to that next. That's question number 2. I still want to know how we got to podcasting.
So podcasting. So anyway, from cabaret, so from a holiday, world's worst holiday rep to holiday entertainer to cabaret singer. So I went back the next year because I then I'd met my girlfriend. Then girlfriend became my wife and fiance, and like a little lovesick puppy. Don't Google James Burt X Factor, you idiot. It won't come up.
I'm trying to find a video.
my mate has found one. He's found one. He's been searching for 2 years for it. It's hilarious. Anyway, so I met my then girlfriend. She was going back out to Cyprus because she was like a resort manager who never got herself into trouble, and like a little lovesick puppy. I was like, well, if she goes, I was like, I loved her as soon as I met her. I was like, I can't let her go to Cyprus because I was like, I know what them Cypriot lads are like, and they'll be all over her like a rash. I'm like, I'm not having that. So I got a job out in Cyprus. So I went for an audition with this entertainment company, this talent agent, and they only had one gig going, and it was to be a Tom Jones tribute act. No joke. So I went to this audition, and they said, yeah, we're looking for a Tom Jones tribute act. And I was like, the only slight issue is that I can't sing like Tom Jones. I can't even do a good impression. And the guy went, yeah, but you kind of got the aura of a young Tom Jones. And I was like, are you going to put on the posters in bars in Cyprus a tribute to the aura of a young Tom Jones? Because I don't think anyone's turning up for that show. Anyway, long story short, I was allowed to go be a cabaret singer. So I did a Michael Bublé tribute. And I basically went...
I want to hear that.
I'm going to get to the point in a minute, I promise. But yeah, so then after I'd done that, I needed a serious job. So I came back, I got into broadcast PR, and I was like, actually, broadcast PR is great. I'd always loved radio anyway from when I was a kid. I used to listen to the football on little Crystal. Do you remember Crystal radios? Yeah. I used to listen to 5 Live to doing the football on the Crystal radio. I was like, I want to be on the radio. So then I got a job on the radio. I got a gig at a station called Amazing Radio, which was a national digital station. Then they brought in a guy called Trevor Dan, whose nickname was Trevor the Hatchet Dan, which was a name he gave himself. So you can get an idea of what that guy was like.
Let me guess, did he sack you?
Exactly. Day one. So he said, we're going to make some sweeping changes. I nudged my mate. I was like, sweeping changes. Look at me now, Trevor. Yes, I got sacked.
So the moral of the story is, so far we're 10 minutes into James's interview, and we found out he's been sacked from everything he's ever done.
Has an employee ever asked for like a reference?
I just make them up. They never check them, do they? They never check them.
List of suckables.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got sacked from that job as well. But the thing was, so I was dealing with the marketing for that radio station, and I was also we is an unsigned music station, which is as good as it sounds. And we realised we had the biggest collection of unsigned music in the country, so we actually created an in-store music offering. where people, so we work with like British Heart Foundation, 99p stores and stuff, because those companies pay hundreds of thousands of pounds every year in PRS and PPL licenses, which are basically music licenses. And we were like, hang on, we got 50,000 tracks here. We could actually put these little pre-recorded boxes into their stores and they could save money.
That's your fault. The music's so bad in those stores.
Yeah, that's down to me. Sorry about that, guys. So then he said, you've got to go. And I was like, okay, fair enough. See you later. But I was still doing the marketing for the company, for the station. But I was like, after a little while, I was like, I got to go. So I left. So they didn't sack me, actually. He sacked me off the radio, but I sacked myself from the whole job. So who's laughing now?
Started to notice the signs.
Then podcasting came along. So I was like, well, you can't sack me from a podcast. I started a podcast. And the day one, I listened to John Lee Dumas talk about how to launch a podcast. I was like, well, that sounds all right. And I'll add on the PR and marketing background that I had. And so the day that I launched my first ever show, Tim Ferriss was number 1, Gary Vee was number 3, and I was sat at number 2, like the meat of an influencer sandwich. And I was like, well, that was quite good. And then I've launched. And now I've launched 135. I'm the Europe's leading expert and had to launch successful podcasts. So that's it.
And where did the X Factor come in?
somewhere in the middle.
Why can't
I did actually, yeah.
Why can't I find it? I've been looking for the.
It's really hard to find. My mate actually
you buried yourself with all of your other work.
No, so the year we did it was the year that Fern Cotton presented ITV2, and there's a big hoo-ha about she had a big falling out with Simon Cowell. So all of the stuff got stripped off YouTube, which is why I can't find it.
Who won it the year that you didn't?
That's
Not
a loaded
the year
question.
You was on it, the year you didn't.
He walked out before he got. It
was a Scottish guy. I think it was Liam. Was it Liam? There's a little Scottish guy who did like swing music. It was like 2007. Liam Lewis. It was the year that Ridian was on it as well. Because my pals were mates with Ridian because they knew each other from like opera school.
Was this UK or?
Yeah.
Ridian.
Ridian.
I'm Googling
You don't
X Factor's
remember?
winners to find out who it was.
It was 2007, I think.
Your name's not on it, James, on this list.
No, it won't be.
Top 12? Or?
Can I just say, it's Pete Cohen here, James. We must have so closely met because I was the confidence coach on X Factor the year that Leona Lewis won. So
Oh, really?
our paths must so nearly have.
How far did you get?
Got to judges' houses.
Can you sing for us, please?
No, please, Pete. Don't.
Please, I'll pay you.
Come on, James.
No, Pete, I'm not for sale, but how
Wow,
much?
you got to judges' houses, bro. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, it's the year where they lumped everyone into judges. So there's
What
like
judge?
200.
What judge's house?
They went to one collectively all together. So there's this big manor house in Oxford they took us all to. We didn't know what was happening. So we went down to the London Shoes, which is just off Tottenham Court Road. We'd already had 2 auditions, by the way, because again, Simon Cowell absolutely hated us. Leon, that's his name, Leon Jackson. That was the fella. So yeah, season 4. And we'd gone, we were called, we had a tribute band as well to boy bands. We were called Boys Aloud. No joke.
What year was that again?
It was 2007, I think it was.
I'm trying to get as much information from my
2007. It was according to Google. It was 2007.
2007. Yeah. So we got down to judges' houses, and that was the year. Yeah, they had Brian Freeman. Do you remember the choreographer guy? They had him on as the initial judge, but they did all of the auditions at Emirates, and me and my mates turned up, and we did an audition. ITV2 loved us because we were like, everyone else was really serious. I was like, oh, let's just have a laugh of it. You know, obviously, class clown, classic avoidance.
So that was when Sharon Osbourne was still on as a judge.
She wasn't at the first audition because she really liked us, but Simon by this point already hated us. He was like, I hate the clothes, I hate the dancing, I hate the singing. We were like a 3-part vocal harmony group. We called ourselves Blag. So we went to the auditions at the Emirates, and then they wanted to sack us off because Simon Cowell hated it. But then ITV2 obviously went, well, we've actually got a lot of footage with these lads. Can we do something? So then Fern Cotton ran after us. She's like, lads, can you come back tomorrow? So we had to do this whole thing. We had to go back to my mate's house, get new costumes, new song, new dance routine, etc. Come back the next day, film this whole thing of us like being the monkeys, like we were in the toilets, the girls' toilets at the Emirates, which was as classy as it sounds. Getting changed, then going back to re-audition. Simon Cowell still hated it, obviously. He was like, absolutely terrible. But they had enough footage of us, so they put us through to judges' houses. And then we went to this big stately manor house in Oxford and sat around for 4 days. It was the weirdest thing ever. And half of what was that band? The Saturdays. Half of the Saturdays were in like a pre-made band. So I was a bit of an Ashley Shipman back in the day, bit of a wheelie dealer. I was like, I'm going out the back for a fag. They locked us in this room. So when all the auditions were going on, they locked us in the room. So you can't like leak anything to the press. I mean, this was the days before mobile phones like had internet connectivity and stuff. Anyway, I was like, I'm a grown man. I'm not going to sit locked in a room. I'm going to the toilet. I'm taking a snap, go to the toilet, snuck out the back for a fag. And this band who'd already been on tour, it turned out with Westlife as their warm-up act, were rehearsing, and they had all of the exact dimensions of the stage measured out on the floor so they could work out their dance routines. And do you remember Simon Cowell used to have the big bodyguard? Was it Tony? Big Tony, the massive hench bodyguard guy. Jennifer Louise probably beat me in an arm wrestle one time. He was there, and he was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have seen that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they did all like the big waterworks thing. It's very like how TV's produced is very funny. I saw how you make the omelette.
Yeah, I've been busy Googling away and I cannot find any evidence of
I
this.
found a wedding picture.
Oh, PTR. His wife wrote a whole article about it. She put in an article. By the way, you guys have to watch them on Facebook Live. They're hilarious. I'm serious. And James, why can't you sit?
He never sits down. He's always standing up. If you watch, he's always standing up.
I like to be ready just in case. You never know what's happening with Ashley Shipman around.
Who's
Who's this?
This is you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We found evidence.
That's my wife.
We have found evidence.
I don't know if the camera can
Guys,
see it.
yeah, his wife wrote about him.
His wife wrote about you.
Yeah.
She did. Do you want me to just send you the link? There's one like 3-part harmony, and then you hear Simon Cowell go, absolutely terrible. Hang on, I'm going to send it to you.
Put
and
an
then you
associate up.
click the link in the button.
We will post that on social media.
Yeah.
Oh. Right.
So
okay.
you've had it the whole time and just made us sit here and
Yeah, because I didn't really want to share it. But there you go.
But you know we're getting close, so.
I'm going to forward this on to you. There you go. So now you've got it, and if you want to play it out. Yeah. Anyway, the guy who I did a lot of filming with, a guy called Daniel DeBorg, who ended up he got into the last 12, I think, and he's now the voice of Aladdin in the West End.
You're the supporting act for Ashley Shipman. So there we go. It worked out well.
We've all won, haven't we, in life? Frankly.
You've told some stories, James, about your a previous business that you was involved with some business partners, and you've shared some lessons learned.
Yes. Careful with this conversation.
Yeah, no, for obvious reasons. But don't tell me too much about it, but tell me the lessons that you learned with working with people that you...
The lessons that I learned from working in that environment. So I had a coaching business. It was financially quite successful a couple of years ago, but it did not line up with my soul, should we say. And I think the main lesson that I learned is to trust your gut and trust your intuition, because if something doesn't feel right, there's normally a reason for that. I had... So you mentioned the kidney thing a minute ago. So I donated my kidney to my brother-in-law, and I flew to Australia to go and do it. And I had to, because he lives out in Oz, so I had to fly. I basically had to go and move to Australia for 3 months, because you have to like spend 6 weeks recovering from the op and all this sort of stuff. And so I landed, and the day before I was going to go and have this operation done. My wife messaged me, and she said, she didn't message me, she was sat next to me on the sofa. She was DMing me. I said, "Oh, just get me on Clubhouse. Flash your mic, you want to talk?" She said, she's like, "Oh, the lads are doing an event." And I was like, "What do you mean they're doing an event?" I said, "Oh, no, that's in like January time." She went, "No, they're doing one in a couple of weeks' time." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I've just found it on Facebook. The lads that are doing an event." And I was like, "Oh, okay, right." Then I looked at it, and they were doing this like little private VIP coaching client event, and I was like, "All right." So I messaged them, and I said, "Oh, how's it going, lads?" I said, "What's this event all about then?" And they basically, the long story short, was that they decided they were going to do this little private event, and they were going to bill people directly, and they made about 10-15 grand, and they decided that they were going to keep that money and split it between themselves. So because you're obviously you're not here to make it happen, bro. I said, "Hang on a second. I have just spent the last week pre-op making sure that everything is organized, just in case I don't come out of this very well and it takes me longer to recover. I've just spent, I've done all the invoicing, all the banking, all the VAT. Said, I run the business. You can't just cut me out of an event just because you're delivering it." I said, "I wouldn't do that to you. I can't believe it." Anyway, that's what they decided they were going to do. And so that's the night before my operation. And obviously the night before you have something like major surgery, you're a bit like tetchy anyway. Yeah. I'm sitting there, I'm lying there, I'm thinking, right, I need to get an early night. I just couldn't I just got so annoyed about it. So I wrote them a big email. And I just said to them, like, "I'm really not happy about this, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, so we were out. I had the op, and then if you've ever had major surgery, they give you some wicked drugs after. So I was like, off my face for weeks. And, in that time, they're like being like, "Oh, yeah, I hope you're all right, blah, blah, blah." but I just couldn't get that niggling feeling away. It was the first thing I thought about when I came around from this operation. Wasn't like, oh, what's life gonna be like without this organ? I was like, I can't believe they screwed me over. Anyway, so long story short, so I sort of mulled on it for like 2 weeks. The other thing was I couldn't do anything about it because I was staying in Australia for 2 weeks, for 2 months. And I got back home to the UK and I was like, yeah, I should leave now. And I should have gone at that point. This was in the February of 2019. I should have left at that point, but I didn't trust my gut. So my lesson would be trust your gut intuition and get around good people. Because it wasn't until I ended up having dinner with a guy called Gary Rhodes, who's a venture capitalist. And the capital he ventures with is his own money. So he's done very well financially, but he's just like a happy guy, got great relationships, great friends, loves his wife. Everyone adores him. He's just one of those guys. And he said to me, he's like, what are you going to do with the business? I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure yet. And he said, oh, you need to do collaborations. And I said, well, yeah, but my business partners don't like collaborating. He said, well, you've got the wrong business partners. It's that simple. And he said, for every day that you don't make a decision that ultimately you should make, you put yourself a month behind in your own life. So then the question becomes, how many months behind would you like to get in your own life? And I was like, wow. And from that moment, then I just left straight away. But it was a really interesting one because I had almost golden handcuffed myself because I've done a lot of businesses that have done all right, made like lifestyle money. This was the first time I made like good money. And it's all relative. I know there's people on this stage who run like big businesses. But, for me, I was pulling good money and I was like, ooh, what am I going to do here? Because I literally stopped with no notice, no backup plan, loads of tax to pay back. Because when you make loads of money and you don't plan for it very well, and all of a sudden the accountant goes, hey, you got 14 grand tax bill. You're like, oh, sure. Don't know what I'm going to do about that then. But yeah, trust your gut and your intuition.
Phone your mate Simon Cowell.
I could do, couldn't I? Absolutely terrible. Yeah, so that was it. Trust your gut and trust your intuition because normally your instinct will very, very rarely lead you in the wrong direction. I have found from previous experience. So that'd be my take on it.
And actually, I can witness this firsthand because when we started trying to bring some organisation behind the magic that Ashley had created, there was a bit of a business that was formed between the three of us, and we had some tough conversations. Like there's a meeting room next door, the other side of that wall. And we'd do this show and then we'd go and sit in that room and just thrash out, like get through. Because I've had some bad business partnerships. So I know the pitfalls that are coming. And we were set on, let's run through every single scenario and try to get to the end with look at the end in mind and work backwards and think of all the situations that could happen. And let's address them now out in the open. And we probably had 2, 3, 4 hour meetings in there next door. And he was a hard cookie to convince, to be fair. So that obviously that business partnership left some scars.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because of, as I say, it was one of those situations where on the outside looking in, it looked fantastic. I did all the classic bullshit things you do when you first start making money, like move to a bigger house. And I was like, I've always wanted an Audi A5 black edition. So I'll get one of them. Oh, but I don't want Hayley driving my dream car. So we'll get her a car as well. So we've got 2 cars and then we've got 2 kids and then we've got a 4-bedroom detached house in Chislehurst. And you're like, yeah, boy, balling out. And then you're like, actually, I'm leaving this business and I haven't got any income. And then the accountant goes, hey, can we have half that money back to pay the tax? I'm like, oh, sure you can. And then I sold a couple of properties and then they're like, oh, can we have the capital gains tax? I'm like, sure you can. Everyone was rinsing me. Yeah, and
then you got the pleasure of going home one day and saying, right, I've got these 2 business partners.
I've got the solution to all of our problems. It's actually shipment. And but I was, so I would say it's interesting you say scars because I think it's with any situation that you go through like that, you can either learn a lesson in a positive way or a negative way. And I'd say it's a positive thing now because I'm much wiser because previously I would jump in stuff like much too quick. So like with what's going on with what we've built, I'd be like, right, well, do you know what? I'm going to bring in somebody to run the podcast agency. I'll put that on the back burner, but I know now that you need to keep your eyes on multiple things. Because I'm one of these like, I'm all in on stuff kind of people, but actually that's not always a good way to be. And I think I've definitely wised up. I definitely now know more about how to spend your money more wisely.
You say you're not all in and was the 30th hour that you was in the studio. So
yes.
I don't know
like
what.
In between,
I don't know what.
But in between, but this was another one of my big things because the people that I worked with, they were like, oh, you can't outwork us. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I'll outwork any of you. I'll outwork any of you. I'll be here before you. I will leave after you. I will do more than anybody, and no one will outwork me. But equally, I now know
that Ashley Shipman turns up before you on a Friday.
Ashley Shipman.
Oh no! James beat me here this morning, and
I beat you every week.
And I was like,
it's because he's got his own keys. I gave him the keys to the castle, and he lets himself in.
I haven't left, okay, guys. I haven't left since
He lets
Tuesday.
himself in.
Haley hates me. I've been living down there where Jennifer's beautiful bag is. That was my bed. All right. Stop making it a thing, guys.
I just want to highlight as well that when we was having these meetings, and I think that anyone who goes into business needs to get the tough meetings out first.
100%.
And I've had some bad experience. I'm not turning it on me, but it was
That came out in the meetings as well, Ash.
Yeah.
Yep.
And James was picking it up from his experience on things I was saying without me saying it. So it just shows that you do get left with scars from businesses, but you were reading my language very, very well, and it just shows the experience that you do have in business and in business partnerships. So because we've all been there, we all have to learn from it, and I do want to give that to you. You picked up things. You was like the way you've just said that, Ash.
I can recreate it. He actually went, hold on a minute, Ash. I'm reading a different language here. What's the real problem? It was something along those lines.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing as well. I think I've got my other business. I was probably, the whole brand that we created was around like being assertive, action taking, but I bordered on like abrasive / it was just not it was a toxic environment, a very, very toxic environment. And anyone who I know there's a few people in the crowd who know my who I used to work with, so I'm not going to name names for legal reasons, but that was kind of the brand that we built around it. And that's but I realized that actually you can be direct without being an arsehole. And actually in business you need to have those conversations. You need to be direct because again, everyone sort of hears me go, oh, he's a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm cutthroat in a positive way. I'm absolutely cutthroat when it comes to business now.
The ground rules got laid.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need that. And like I say, it's easy to have those. I think it's better to have those conversations when you're like, right, before we go into this, before there's any money that's been bought into this business, before there's any like value that's been built within this brand, let's lay out exactly where we're going to go. Because the other thing was with that business, I took it from a standing start to doing the best part of £1 million in 18 months. And I drove that business. Every event, every graphic, every piece of copy. We ended up having a coaching academy. So I was coaching coaches on how to coach. I was literally like making manuals on how to do it. Everything was made by me. And I left that brand with nothing. And the accountant said to me at the time, he's like, you're mad. And I was like, it's that toxic. Just get me out of it. Strip me off company's house. I want gone. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything else. Just get me out of it. And that was it. But equally, I've then subsequently seen in a couple of situations, I was like, I'm about to make the same mistake again. And I never mind making a mistake. I only mind making it twice.
Just powerful. Let me tell me about your Clubhouse journey before we wrap up, because that's always an interesting story to hear from everybody. So
I actually, I got invited. So we do some celebrity podcasts, and Natasha Hamilton, who used to be in Atomic Kitten.
Don't name drop.
Sorry, pick that name back up. Mates with Simon Cowell. Got told I was rubbish by Louis Walsh once. Guys, I'm really sorry. You're going home. It's the end of the dream. So Natasha Hamilton, she used to be in Atomic Kitten. Pick that name back up. She said, have you heard about this social media platform? It's for like voice. And I was like, oh, another social media platform. Yeah, sure. And I looked at it. She invited me on the 30th of December, and I looked at it and I was like, nah, not for me. And I actually, I think it was the 4th or 5th of January, I did a podcast episode entitled "Why Clubhouse is the Biggest Waste of Time in 2021."
Bet you regret that. ...
Maybe, because I was like, let me leave myself some wiggle room here. And then I came on a few more times, and literally I was, as most people who've gone on to create great things here on Clubhouse, it starts with Ashley Shipman, doesn't it? He is all roads lead to Ashley. And we were in this room, and I was like, I don't really get how this works. And then I can't remember, we end up like DMing each other or something.
Give me your number.
Yeah, give me your number.
Yeah, but you do that, and you never at the start. He never replied to you. Did you get that part? It took me about 2 weeks.
Oh no, because I said I'll have
to get in touch with him.
I said you can come on my podcast. He phoned me within about 4 minutes.
Oh, well there you go.
I'm saying it for Ashley's there.
And I said, he was just like, I've never done a podcast.
I know, yeah. So he'd never done one before, and I was like, let's. I said, what's going on with this Clubhouse? I said, I don't really get it, mate. He's like, yeah, I'm a bit the same, but he said it's blowing up. He said, all these leads are coming through for the business and blah blah blah. He said, you want to go into these rooms and that was kind of it. And then we had a little gang of us, didn't we, who got together to sort of support each other in each other's rooms, because to start with they were running for like 6, 7, 8 hours, weren't they?
Well, we done a daily habits room the first time, and that was, I think I was in the first one. It went on for 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
I was going to sleep, waking up, it was still there.
I was waking up in the middle of the night to check on it. I was like, what am I doing?
Got hijacked by the Americans at one point.
That's right. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I had people messaging me going, "Oh my God, Paris Hilton's in your room." And I was like, "Cool, I'm asleep."
I'll
bizarre.
take over anytime you guys need.
Thank you very much.
I think we're all still followed by Paris Hilton from that room.
Are we? Still big in the game.
That's
aren't we?
my claim to fame.
Big in the game. So yeah, so I started doing those rooms, and I was like, "Oh, this is a mega time drain." But within the first 10 days, I landed a client through it. And I was like, right, this is actually a marketing channel. This is an IPA. This is an income producing activity. So I was like, well, actually, before I was doing daily podcasts, I was doing vlogs, I was doing blogs, I had a mailing list, I was doing loads of content, smashing content out. And at this point in time, it was only me in the business as well. So I was producing all of the episodes of the content for clients. I had 2 producers who are outsourced up in Manchester, up at Salford, next to the BBC HQ, who I used to outsource stuff to. But most of it was me. And I was like, actually, I need to bring in more stuff. So I've changed the business. I've got 2 full-time employees now, literally just off the back of Clubhouse, because I realized for every hour that I spent on Clubhouse to start with, I'd get 100 followers. From all those 100 followers, I'd get about 50% of those people would connect with me on Instagram, and I would DM every single person with a link, and probably 5 in 100 or 10 in 100 would go across to my Facebook group. And I was like, actually, if you can get 10 in 100 to go across, if I spend 8 hours on it, I'll get 80 people across. If I can get, every person's £1. I spoke to Dodge on my podcast before, and his dad used to run pubs. He said, think of every person as £1. I was like, well, if I could do that every day, then it's £80 a day. That's a bit shit, actually, isn't it, when I think about it? But I was like, actually, I can see where this is going to go. So, I started spending more time on it. And then very quickly, because of the backgrounds of all of us who are serious about turning this into something, Ash's ability to sort of drive a business forward, Paul's ability to systemize it and scale it up, and my background within PR, branding and marketing, I was like, I think we're on something here. I think we could offer something out to businesses, small businesses, and then a few, can't really talk about it, but a few connections happened, which have basically fast forwarded what we could have ever dreamt of doing with an agency by about 10 years. And having worked in PR for a long time and branding, I didn't get sacked, actually. I left all those jobs, by the way, just to work it out.
What, the day before you was...
We didn't ask for any references before we invited him into our little partnership,
Boys,
Ash.
rookie
We should have.
mistake.
We should have.
Oh, yeah, but if you do need a reference still, do you remember Liba, who was on earlier? Yeah, she's got all my contracts for me, all those dodgy contracts. Email Liba, and
I'm still here, guys.
she's still here. She's got the contracts. If you can send them across to Ashley Shipman's PA, that'd be great.
1 a.m.
Yeah, so that was I could quickly see that what we were going to do could be really, really big.
Did you have that burnout period of in Clubhouse?
Oh yeah, 100%. And it was only because I think the art of, well, anything in life, I think, can be solved with communication, because my wife was getting a bit agged. She's like, what are you doing? I sat on your phone all the time. I was like, look, it's actually driving revenue. And I was like, look at the bank, like it works. I said, it's a weird setup. I know it's another social media platform. I said, but actually for certain businesses, for coaches, expert mentors, podcasters, I was like, and people who provide podcast services, like there's never been a better platform than this. And, I was going into other people's room who also produce podcasts. They're like, oh, James is here, the podcast king. I'm like, that brand is really getting built. And as I say, I was getting 3 or 4 leads a day. So yeah, but I definitely got to that point where I was like, I can see the value of it, but I was like, can I really spend all of my time doing this? I'm not really sure. But then obviously, but it goes back to, I guess, the intention of it. Then we sat down, and had those awkward conversations. Went, look, this is what we're going to do with this brand that we're building. This is what we could do with this community that we're building. And behind the Winners Club, there's actually there's a proper sort of business behind what we're scaling up. We're not doing any of this accidentally or unintentionally. As soon as the intention was there, I was like, right, now I'll double down. And then we get to today, and that's the end of my journey.
Soon to be sacked.
There we go. Soon to be sacked by Ashley. Yeah. Right, guys. Flash your microphones if you have
ask a question?
Yeah,
I do.
a question for Jennifer or for Ashley. Who was that? Was that Anna or was that Anna?
Yes.
Go for it, Anna.
Hi, guys. Oh my God, you are cracking us all up. At the same time, this has been an amazing interview. The whole thing. Today, you guys are just, oh my gosh, off the hook, as we say over here.
All right. So my question to James, wow, you have an amazing life story as well. What would you say are the 3 top lessons that you have learned from launching over 130 podcasts globally or shows globally? Like, what makes a great show in your opinion?
Great
From
question.
your own experience.
Yeah,
Thank
so knowing why you're making a podcast and knowing what you want to say. It sounds overly simplistic, but honestly, there's so many people who just want to have it because it's another marketing channel. It's another, like, well, I've got Facebook and I've got LinkedIn and I've got TikTok. I probably should have a podcast. I'm not, okay, sure. So know what you're trying to say, know who you're trying to say it to, and work out what education, information, or entertainment you're going to deliver to those people. Because in a world where there's more and more podcasts launching all the time, you need to have a point of difference. I walk all of my clients through a process where we look at their core values, USPs, mission statement, value proposition, stakeholder, ideal listener, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the time people are like, "Cool, this is a bit full on just for a podcast." But that's all of the sort of, I've worked with like Nando's, BMW, Thomas Cook, these big brands for like, in PR on and off like 15 years. So I treat the launch of a podcast like I would treat the launch of any other brand extension. So I take it dead seriously. But yeah, understanding those principles is really important. But also I'd say out of all of those, the USP is the most important one right now, because there's a lot of shows out there. You need to have a real point of difference. I say to people all the time, what's going to be your USP? And they're like, oh, well, it's going to be a real in-depth interview. I'm like, okay, sure. So is everybody else's. You need to have a USP to stand out. And I think that's great for business in general and great for marketing in general. You need to have that USP and hang your hat on that point of difference. And just one final one, just be you, because you can't be anything else. It's all well and good, giving it loads. But if you're not the person that you purport to be on your podcast, it's not going to add any value to you long term. That's my take on it.
That is awesome. Just a second question, and that
Don't be selfish, Anna.
Just please. I've been listening intently, and I didn't speak yesterday.
Go for it.
Thank you. Okay, is there an experience that you would redo? Like, if there could be something in your life that you would redo, what would that be?
Probably not walking into the room where me and Ashley were sitting down, trying to convince James to come in as a business partner. He'd probably like to redo that moment, but go for it, James.
Is there? I believe. I think there's like the butterfly effect, though, isn't there? I think if you change anything, you probably change everything. There's probably loads of stupid stuff that I did. I've done some questionable things. I probably would have. Yeah, when I was a holiday rep, so I was a holiday rep for 3 years, and I think I was probably sober for one day of that entire 3-year period. I lived in this beautiful island, and we had we had coves and stuff around the corner, and literally I just used to go get battered. And like, I was 19, I was a really stupid kid. So yeah, I'd probably drink a little bit less, but then equally, no, probably not. Would I change anything? No. Even the stuff that's even the stuff that wasn't enjoyable at the time. No, I don't think I would change, really. No, the answer is no. I would have spent more time with my dad, because my dad passed away when I was 26, and I would have spent more time with my dad. But actually, having said that, in the last couple of years, I did spend a lot of time with him, because I used to sort of ferry him backwards and forwards to like hospital appointments and that sort of stuff. And at the time, I was like, I've got to build a business. What are you doing? But actually, I was like, I could have just chilled out and had a cheese toasty with him a bit more often, really. But yeah, other than that, no.
I have a question, please.
Go on, Alan.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And just let me reiterate what Anna said. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. It's been cracking up, man. It's been an amazing conversation. James, your life is as colourful as mine, mate. We're gonna have such a laugh when we get together.
It's not quite as colourful as yours. Like, you've actually made a difference to people. I'm just having a laugh.
Nah, you have, man. You have. Now, listen. My question for you is, what is the most supportive belief you have about yourself? Number one for you. Your number one supportive belief.
Number one supportive belief.
Subconscious belief.
No, so yeah, a belief that you have about yourself. The number one belief that you have about yourself that supports you in everything you've done. If you look at your life.
Yeah. Okay. So the number one thing I think is that I always look for a win-win. I always look for a win-win. If the other person can't win in a situation, then I don't want to win either. And I think if you go into life with that was what my biggest issue is with that former coaching business, because it was a win for us and not for the win for the people that we were serving. So yeah, I always look for win-win situations.
So it's probably more you always create the win-win. You're always looking to create a win-win. You always create one. No, that's awesome, but it's lovely. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's brilliant.
Thank you, mate. Good question. It's all got a bit deep and serious, isn't it?
Flash your microphones if you would like to ask a question.
Anyone want a crap
to
joke?
Jennifer? Or to
Add a bit of levity.
I've got a question.
Oh, here he goes.
Beiju.
Old time and envy.
He's out on the
Sorry?
nightclub. You're out on the nightclub. Go on.
I'm at the nightclub. There are a load of treadmills there. James, my question is, like you say, joking aside, you had all these careers, different professions, whether you're sacked or left or whatever. Was there a point where
He got that in, didn't he? Not sniped.
Was there a point where
I wanted to give up, yeah.
No. This is what I really want to do, and you were searching for it in different vehicles, but this is what I want to do, and whatever that thing is. And you feel where you are now is like that's close to filling your passion, what you want to do every day. You know, doing a job that you love means you never work.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you were searching for that in some ways, but you just didn't find it? But humor was the sort of the common denominator, because, like I say, you are, you know, genuinely, you are a very funny man, and I love it. I love it, you know. And I think there's no why you're not on a mainstream radio show. I don't know, but that's a different story.
Trevor Dan.
But, sorry?
The guy Trevor Dan. That's why I'm not on the mainstream radio show, because he sat me, the bastard.
Oh, right, okay, not better then.
We've now locked him into a 10-year contract, so he can't go anywhere.
But did you ever have, like, you know, because I always wanted to help, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do until sort of towards the end of my corporate thing. Oh, yeah, I want to coach. I want to be out there and help people. Did you ever have that thing that this is what I really want to do? And if that is, what was it? And have you found it?
Yeah, I thought, great question. I thought that I wanted to be on the radio, and I did. But I remember about 10 years ago, me and my mate, we were really good pals. We worked together at this job that we both hated. And the only way to get through it was to sort of almost like keep talking to each other about like when we were going to get this radio show. Then we landed this radio show. It's called Greg Porter, great guy. We used to call him Gregademus, like Shakademus, but Gregademus. He didn't like that name in the end because I used to play Shakademus and Pliers. It used to really annoy him. Probably why we got kicked off the radio, frankly. But we used to sort of talk to each other all the time about, oh, imagine when we get on the airwaves and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, between Christmas and New Year, you know, that lull period, I was like, right, come to my house and we are going to plan world domination of radio. Anyway, 24 beers later, literally, we drank a case of beers and we were just writing down show ideas. And we had one called Cheese or Breeze, where we go to the top of the studio and chuck 2 lumps of cheese off and see which one hit the ground first. Genius idea. X Factor, we had to phone up your ex and try and get back with them on air. We had come up with loads of stupid ideas. Anyway, we come up with these goals and aspirations. This is why we got sacked. We came up with all these goals and aspirations. And my thing was that I wanted, my big goal, I wanted to be on 6 Music, which was this sort of like little sort of alternative BBC radio station. But I remember when I wrote it down, I also wanted to have a company. So I wanted to have the breakfast show on 6 Music, and I wanted to do 6 till like 10 on 6 Music, and then I wanted to go and run a business. And I think now, if I look at it, it's kind of exactly what I've got. So yeah, I think I'm probably closer now to the goal of what I ultimately want to do. I'm closer now than I ever have been. And that's why I'm going back to the point a minute ago, I can't really change any of the situations, you know, the whole coaching business and all the finance and all that kind of stuff. It was all challenging at the time, but I think it's wised me up now so that I can, you know, this is like having a radio show, isn't it? But then it's also
it's like, from the outside, it's like you're a kid in the sweet shop. It's like, oh my God, you actually got your own sort of show. Well, you know, we've Ashley and James, we're all here, but you've got this perfect setup where you're doing your podcast, you've got your business, but also you got the opportunity to go in the studio. And I can see a situation, well, you're probably in a studio every single day, you know, managing, you know, family and all the rest of it. But like this week, I'm sure all that's tiring. You loved it. You went in there, you're doing the scale up thing. You come in Friday. We love it. I don't know about anybody else, but fucking can't wait till Fridays. It's hilarious. I love being in the studio. I'd love to come down again. But honestly, I'm just on the gym listening. The bands, it's like you three. And do you know, do you ever used to listen to Kiss FM in the morning, Charlie, Melvin and they have that sort of banter, and you've got that sort of banter, you guys. When the guests come in, like Jennifer's there now, I was there, Lucienne. We just sort of slip in, and we just sort of part of the crowd. It's just sensational. Yeah,
this is definitely the closest that I've ever been to. Yeah, I guess like having the life that I wanted, and you know, I'm married to my best friend.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he doesn't know about it. But I did some internet contracts, and we're officially tied together. No, but I've got 2 beautiful boys. I live in a lovely house. I actually couldn't want for anything more, frankly, which then lends itself to the question like, well, what gets you out of bed every day? And the answer to that question is Ashley Shipman.
I know two things. I know two things you want.
Go on.
A new PA and a new photo.
I can hook you up.
Good question, though, Beju. Right.
So just contact my PA, as you know. Just don't come direct to me.
Don't come to Ash. She's too busy. It's too busy.
Zahida's flashing. I'd love to hear what Zahida's got. 'Cause she's got the inside track. She's the spy in the camp.
I am the spy in the camp, actually. No, I've worked with James, or rather, he has kicked my ass, actually.
Did you
and
get
I'm
him
very
sacked,
grateful for
Zahida?
It's close.
No, I didn't.
She has got the ability
I
to
might
get him
be
sacked
close
from
to
his
that.
marriage.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that might be a close one. No, not at all. No, I think it's lovely, actually. What I'd like to ask you, James, is you're doing very well for yourself, but do you have a legacy that you want to leave behind? What is your legacy that you'd like to leave behind? Yes, that's what I'd like to know.
Oh, that's a really good question. Do you know what? It's a bizarre one. So my granddad was a head teacher of a school. He's actually got a road named after him. So if you go to a little town called Framlingham, you can actually visit Andrew Burt's Close. And he's got a swimming pool named after him, all that sort of stuff. And my nan, when we had my nan's funeral, this is a weird sort of roundabout way of saying it, but my nan, the vicar at my nan's wedding started to cry. So this is a guy who obviously does dozens and dozens of funerals. And he actually cried when he was speaking. He was like, "I'm so sorry. It's very unprofessional." And it made me think that actually, do you know what? Your legacy is probably how you leave people feeling. So like my dad, for example, he passed away when I was 26 and he left, like he was an accountant and he was bloody tight ass as well. So he left a bit of cash, don't get me wrong. But in terms of like his legacy, I think it was probably people were like devastated when he passed away. And I think, when I sort of what looked around at his funeral and I could see the emotion on people's faces, I was like, is that the legacy? So in terms of like, yes, I'm going to hand down the Ultimate Podcast group to my sons if they want to run it. Actually, I'm going to hand it down to whether they like it or not, frankly. I'm probably, there'll be businesses and there'll be, investments and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to leave people. Do you know what? If I got knocked down by the Ilford bus tomorrow, which could quite easily happen because they've got some ropey buses around here, I'd just like everyone to go, do you know what? He was a really nice guy, that dude. He was such a laugh. If that's the legacy, then that will do me. Take me now, I'm done.
Go on with a nice story and you make us laugh.
That's right. Yeah, you do, absolutely. And I know Framlingham as well, actually, because we used to have a place in Suffolk. So Framlingham's a lovely place as well, actually.
It is, yeah. That little school in the middle of the town that's got the Andrew Burt pool, because my granddad said he didn't want flowers at his funeral, so they raised enough money to build a pool. And the road next to the school is Andrew Burt's Close. So
next time I'm there, we'll go and
have a selfie next to the sign.
I will do.
Tag me in.
I will do, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, do.
Thank you, James. Thank you for the reply.
Right, last orders at the bar. Anybody else for questions? Flash your microphones.
I'll nick a question while we're looking.
It's Beiju's round.
I'll nick a question.
Keep flashing. Ashley's going to ask a question. I'm going to keep flashing so I can scroll down and see you, and then I'll come to you. So keep going.
This could be a bit of a deep question. That you're good support. You're good support to a lot of people. Is there a reason why that you are like that? Because there's a lot of people out there that just let people get on with it. Like you like to guide, motivate, inspire, push people. Why?
Oh, good question. Probably again, my dad. My dad was just a really nice dude. He had an accountancy practice. And he used to do like a load of pro bono work, which used to really annoy my mum because every evening he'd be doing like somebody else, another charity set of accounts. He was like he was part of the Rotary Club. There was a big home for the disabled in our little village, and he used to go every Friday and drive the bus to like the social club and stuff. And he used to drag me along to it as well. So I probably learnt vicariously from my dad, because when you used to drive this bus, you couldn't drive it by yourself in case there was an accident or anything happened, because these were like seriously at risk people. And so you used to have a buddy. So he would drag me along on a Friday. So we go to this like social club for like seriously disabled people. And he just, I don't know, maybe that kind of stuff. He just did the right thing, and he always did it with like an element of grace. He never did it for an outcome. He just did it because it was the right thing to do. And I probably had that level of instilled in me.
Okay, brilliant. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
I just wanted to just see why, because you support me, you support a lot of people in the rooms, in the clubs, behind the scenes. I just wanted to see where that come from.
I love seeing people win as well. I love seeing people win.
It's
It's addictive. Like if I work with like a client or like a podcast, like on podcast launch days, I get more excited than the clients. I'm like, have you put it out there yet? Where have you put it? Where's the? Well, I'm like, oh yeah, we've got another top 10. Here's a graphic. Put this out. I'm like, where have you put it? Ask for people for reviews. People are like, all right, mate, chill out. But I just love seeing people win. I don't think there's anything more exciting than seeing people win. And the feeling that you get if you've had like a little hand in that, that's as good as winning yourself, I think.
Oh, 100%. And I literally I follow them that saying.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's answered my question. So
Good question. Thank you, Ash.
Yeah.
You're being grilled next week. Liba, coming to you, and then we'll go to Sharon.
Amazing. I actually have a question, but I want to share. Hi guys, this is Liba. I'm like keeping my eyes open because you're so funny. I want to share a great win. When I see people standing on the corner, like whether they're homeless or don't have money, don't have food, I try to always keep food in my car. And when I give it to them and I see them eat it right away, like for me, that's a massive win. That's just like, that melts my heart because I know that they actually need it and they use it right away. And that's just like one of the most beautiful things I witness all the time. And it just makes me cry happy tears. So that's a win. But I have a question. I might be too, people have told me many times to either start a podcast or write a book because I have crazy stories. Is it something that costs a lot of money if you're not going to do it for money? Is the question. Or is it like really hard to get started to do that? Because I don't have a problem speaking. I speak all the time. A, and B, someone else was talking earlier about Kickstarters, and I had a really great idea about an item to create, but I just don't have all the tools to like actually, it's something that doesn't really exist yet, and then to like get it out there on the market. So I know it would take work.
Right,
Those
so
are my questions.
let me answer the
And
podcast.
thank you guys.
The podcast question is not difficult to get a podcast out there. It's difficult to do a podcast right. So you need to know how to plan, produce, launch, grow, and you just need to be intentional about it. Because again, a lot of people will just be like, "Oh, my podcast's out there," and that's kind of it. The people spend all this time, effort, energy, and focus making a podcast, and then they just sort of forget to tell people about it. So you need to spend as much time marketing the damn thing as you do making it. Is it expensive? Depends. If you use my agency, we're well expensive, but that's because we're really good. So depends on your budgetary constraints. But no, it doesn't. It can actually be free. You can. There's an app called Anchor. You can record a podcast directly on your phone. You can have a little bit of a jingle music on Anchor. You can upload it straight away. It's not how I'd suggest you do it because they've got some dodgy terms of service. But you can do it for absolutely nothing. But again, you just need to be intentional about why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and what kind of information, education, and entertainment you're going to give to these people. But no, don't let the tech side of things stop you. Download the Anchor app and you can launch a podcast today, basically. Job done. Next
Okay,
question.
that's amazing. And another question, how do I like find out what's the best length of time for a recording?
Pop me a DM about this, Liba. Just pop me a DM, click on my face and pop me a DM and I'll answer your questions on Instagram. And anybody else who wants to have a podcast, by the way, while there's 200 people listening, please feel free to DM. And obviously, I won't respond directly because
there's a rule: no pitching in the winners' club.
Yeah, I know, but whatever.
It's specific.
Ashley said that I could, and I won't respond to him. Obviously, but
we
Ashley's
can't obviously press the eject button when he's standing next to us, can we? Usually, at this point, we would click on your face and we would say move to the audience, but we can't do that when you're standing next to us. Sharon.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I have, first of all, I knew you were funny, James. I didn't realize quite how funny you were. But thank you for keeping me entertained this morning. As you know, because we've talked about it, I want to launch a podcast as well. You mentioned earlier that when you launched your podcast, you became the meat in the influencer sandwich. So
that is one of the best lines.
Was it
what I want to know? What I want to know is, how do I become the meat in the sandwich?
Wow, well, that's the question, isn't it? Let's just quickly go around the room as well. If you were going to be any meat in a sandwich, what meat would you be?
Chicken.
Well,
You'd definitely
I
be chicken.
Wouldn't be because I'm vegan, so.
Oh, you'd be a bit of tofu then. Ashley Shipman would be.
I'm sure one of the UK
refrigerators.
supermarkets sells chicken as not chicken that you can put in a sandwich.
Yeah, quick. So how do you do it? You basically got to launch it in the right way. There's like a 14-day promo process. Again, most people spend all this time making a podcast, and loads of people come to me for advice and guidance after they've launched. And they spent a fortune. There's a training course out there. There's one guy, I'm not going to name him by name.
Go on.
But unfortunately, he's too busy being the mayor of London, almost. And he does a course. It's like $6,500 apparently. 6 months. It's like he just longs it out, and people come to me after they've done other people's training. They don't know the basics. So the promotion of it, the best advice I could say: who are you doing this podcast for? What's it all about? And then spend as much time marketing the damn thing as making it. That's the best advice I could give, because other people get that completely the wrong way around.
And do you cover all of that in your training videos, James?
Yeah, we do. It's available on all. Yeah, pop me a DM, because I don't want this to turn into a pitch. But there's the UK's leading.
Go to the landing page and to the website, and also go over to the social medias. There will be some links there.
Yeah, or just email Ashley affiliate at ashleyshipman.co.uk/no pitching.
So basically, you're saying it's about the marketing.
It's about the marketing. Yeah, you've also got to have a good show. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of shows out there. Don't allow me to make it think you can just sort of put out some rubbish. And if you market it in the right way, you'll get traction, because you won't. But ultimately, you need to spend as much time marketing it as you do making it, and people get that wrong a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure this week. We've done over 40 hours of Winners Club rooms, I think, including Breakfast for Winners and all the other stuff. There's about 40 hours of Winners Club rooms on Clubhouse. Our longest week ever so far of Clubhouse activity. Yeah. Anything to say, guys? Jennifer?
Have we got any more questions for Jennifer before we wrap up?
Oh, I thought I'd got away with that.
No, my friend. Anyone got a question for Jennifer? Pete
and Anna.
Go on, we'll ask a couple more. Go on, Pete.
Actually, I wanted to say to you, James, very quickly, your dad was a Rotarian, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so my dad was a Rotarian for 50 years, and the motto of Rotary is you seek service over self. And you are incredibly selfless. And that's why I just think you're great, and I think that's why Ashley obviously resonates with you. We all resonate with you because you want to serve, and that's why Clubhouse is so great for so many of us, because we love to serve more than anything else. So yeah, it's been windy where I am. Walking into London.
The wind got very heavy there, Pete.
Please be careful.
Pete's in one of those indoor skydiving activity centres.
No, he's outside on the fan. Well, basically, you get the drinks.
Go on then, Anna. Anna, do you have a question that you'd like to ask to Jennifer?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Paul. This is Paul, right?
No, it's James, but who cares? Same difference. We both look the same.
God.
He's the better looking version. The X Factor video shows that.
That outfit and sunglasses.
Now James. Okay, got it. Okay. I'm learning to distinguish your voices, and remember, I'm also learning the accent, right? So that's a
You're
lot
doing
to catch
good.
up on.
You're doing good.
Thank you so much. So my question for Jennifer, and also James, you can answer it as well. Where do you see yourself, Jennifer? Like, if you could have, or I could have, a magic wand and wave it, where do you see your life, like your ideal life 10, 20 years from now? I'm just curious.
Oh, okay. So in 10 to 20 years from now, my ideal life would be, because my children will both be grown up. I have one adult child who is turning 21 this year, and one 14-year-old little girl, but she would be an adult, and I would just love to split my life between here and South Africa. So spend kind of 6 months out there, 6 months here, traveling back and forth, building, growing the charity with Chris, and the businesses just doing their thing in the background, providing me with a lovely lifestyle, but also the freedom of time to be able to do that.
Amazing. Wow. That's
Great
fantastic.
answer.
Thank you. What about you, James? Yeah, amazing.
I don't want to go after that. I want to go. I'm going to go with Jennifer Louise.
The meat in a clubhouse sandwich.
Yeah, meat in a clubhouse
James
sandwich.
wants to secure a job and not get fired.
If I don't get sacked by Ashley Shipman in the next 6 months, that's as far down the line as I'm looking right now, Anna. Frankly, it's questionable.
That notice up yet for him?
It's
Ash?
questionable.
You can't pass the buck, Jennifer. You've got more warnings than anyone.
James, seriously, aren't you considered like the king of podcasts in the UK? So,
Well, if you look at my LinkedIn, I am. By the way, guys, because people are like, did you actually call yourself that? No, my clients did, and I adopted it, and Made a little logo.
One client did.
One client
As a
one
joke.
time said the podcast king in a sentence, not together. And I was like, I'm having that.
I heard somebody else coin that phrase last night. I'll tell you about that after.
Who?
Can't say, tell you about it after. Anyway.
I'm going to knock them out.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you
For
so
us.
much for all of your support this week in all of the various rooms. We've got some good stuff coming up next week. Sunday, Daily Habits of High Performance. We've got Alan. I think we should arrange for Alan to come and see us.
Yes, definitely.
I think that would be good. And
Oh, I
Pete.
can just
and
see
Pete.
him
I like
sitting
Pete
on
as
the
well.
desk.
I'd have Anna. We'd have Anna, but Anna's a bit far away. We
Can
can't.
I come?
We can't afford the flight from LA yet.
I'm coming.
Ashley's plane is still being prepared. They're custom fitting the interior. So when that's ready, we'll send it for you.
Actually, can we get some dodgy documents just to make sure?
Liba can help with that, can't she?
Oh, brilliant.
Alan, make sure
I missed
Ash
that.
sends the car for you. I had to drive.
Actually, at the moment, I might have to bring up Dean if Dean's still in the house. Just borrow the might let you turn up in.
I gotta go now. I've got a Zoom call with my client. So catch you guys later. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
guys,
So
it's been an absolute pleasure. Sunday, Daily Habits of High Performance. Please check that one out. Follow the club. Click on the greenhouse so you get notified of all the rooms that are coming up. Click all of the moderators in the face if you haven't already done so. There's actually a new prompt, isn't there, that says follow the speakers that you can click on. And
Yes, there
so you've
is.
probably already taken care of that part. So make sure you follow the speakers and moderators. We've got a great room coming up on Monday as well. Not only Breakfast for Winners Monday morning, the CEO, global chairman, of Ketchum. And this was phenomenal last week. So if you wasn't in the room last week, get in the room this week because it's going to be a good one. And on that note, as we heard, James was a Michael Bublé tribute act. So instead of the Winners Club theme song as a play out for the end of the day,
You go for that
I
one?
have got.
This is not me, by the way. This is the actual Bublé.
Join in.
I'm not going to join in with Bublé.
Come on.
Sun in the sky. You know how I feel. That's why I got sacked from that job as well.
Anybody else got any final words before the main bit of the song kicks in? Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
What a banging tune this is, by the way. This used to go down really well in Iron Napa.
Ready?
That's where I was at. Tribute.
Go, James.
It's a
Go,
new
James.
life. I've lost it now. Don't have any more.
Thank you, and we will see you on Sunday, Daily Habits of High Performance.
Tomorrow morning.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's been an amazing show. You guys have been amazing. Well, you know what's great about this show is that you guys are just having fun being yourself, and we love it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for being here, everyone.
Good night, you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Let's rock and roll. Family.
You know how I feel. River running free. You know how I feel. Blossom on a tree. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun. You know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun. You know.